All right, hello YouTube. Welcome to Geekery Abides, episode number 55. That's a satisfying number.
Yeah.
Almost as good as 66, but excuse me. But yeah, welcome to episode 55, where we are going to be doing a little bit of a different episode than we normally do. But yeah, let's go ahead and hit the intro before we get talking about that and get started.
He who is ashamed of his geekery has forgotten the face of Stan Lee.
You the proud, the geeky.
This is the podcast, Geekery Abides.
Hello and welcome to Geekery Abides, episode number 55, as we are working our way through the middle of March, or the Ides of March. So watch your back, especially if you're a Roman Caesar.
That's right.
The Caesar. Or if you're a salad dressing. I don't know how all that works, but I'm assuming there's some Caesar salad dressings that are getting stabbed today, too. So, but yeah, we're here. Like I already said in the intro, if you're on the YouTube side, you may have already heard it, but on the podcast side, a little bit of a different episode than we normally have. We've got our top 10 list where we're going to be doing. Peter was unhappy with me. Of course, I say, Peter, why the hell did you pick this topic? Because it was pretty damn hard to do, so...
I didn't pick it. You did. What the hell?
We'll get into like my shotgun list. I just wanted to like tell it when we get to that section. But
Jeez, 2 seconds into the episode, and I'm catching strays for something you did
it
to
was-
yourself.
It was a tough list to make, but it was it's been fun. But essentially, what we're going to do is just to give you a sneak peek. We're going to do our top 10 for the main topic. We're going to do our watching, reading, playing, all that kind of fun stuff. But rather than diving through the news, we are actually going to just geek out about Daredevil Born Again, the first 3 episodes.
Yeah.
I think we're going to probably do that all the way through. Now, the only question I think that really brings up is, I guess we probably then don't have to do a full episode on the Daredevil Born Again.
No, I think we're going to be talking about it every single episode until it's done.
Yeah.
Maybe like a little
Now there-
recap corner when it's done, but
There is one episode that'll be after the finale. I think that we end up with an episode a few days before the finale airs. So, like, theoretically, that episode, if there were to be anything like that, like, we're going to be talking about the finale or whatever.
Yeah.
But, yeah, either way. So let's go ahead and dive on into it, though. Let's jump on over first to emails. If you want to email the show, you can do that at tad@geekeryabides.com, TADD, or peter@geekeryabides.com. I guess I've said it on the other show. Hopefully everyone knows. Generally speaking, if you send an email for me, especially on like a top 10 list, I'll check it the night before. But if it comes during the day, I don't know if I'm ever able to really implement it in the show, just because it's kind of short notice. Looks like nothing has come in since I checked last night. That's good. But yeah, so if you want to email the show, you can do that. We produce the shows every other, so all the odd episodes are me, all the even episodes are Peter. So if you have any feedback, show topic advice that you may want to see, email either of us directly. Anything you want to do to chime in, do it there through email. Let's see. Next up on the docket is watching, reading, playing.
yeah.
So see, it's my episode. So why don't you go first?
Okay. Still watching Ghosts and Harley Quinn season 5, so I think it's Ghosts season 4. And then, of course, Daredevil Born Again. I'm watching the second season of 1923. We finished, my wife is watching Parks and Rec. She finished that. She's giving 30 Rock a try.
Okay, I've never
As
watched
her-
that.
We watched the first episode together last night.
My algorithm's trying to make me watch Parks and Rec. Keeps throwing clips at me, and I'm like,
it's fucking hilarious.
no, I love
mean,
the show.
I'm
but
just
it's
saying.
like, I don't know if I need a rewatch of anything right now. So I'm just, I'm slightly shaking my fist at my algorithm because
Yeah.
it's trying to peer pressure me into a rewatch.
It's good. I will say that.
What is it? Daddy wants pie.
Daddy, dude, you sent me that clip.
It's
Yeah.
so funny.
It's great.
Oh, it's so
While there's
funny.
a feminist
Yeah.
activist talking to Leslie. And then last night, my wife and I watched a movie. Rewatch for me, first time for her.
Pam, that's just
Oh.
stupid.
Phone
Yeah,
Booth.
We watched Phone Booth.
That's a good one. It's one of my-
It's actually a pretty good movie.
you don't
I-
tell me. I've loved that movie.
I haven't watched it for nigh on 2 decades.
That's
but
actually why I'm a Colin Farrell fan.
yeah, 2002, a great film from got Colin Farrell, Katie Holmes,
Forrest Whitaker.
Forrest Whitaker's in it.
Yeah.
So Kiefer
Yeah,
Sutherland, of
Kiefer,
course.
yeah,
I mean,
Kiefer.
he's in the soundbite. So, reading, I finished the book called American Predator. It's about the serial killer Israel Keys. Never heard of him, but it's Alaska. So in honor of my best friend, I had to read it.
I heard there's bears up there, but I don't know. That just
He's
seems-
apparently a sick and twisted serial killer that unfortunately they will never know how many people he killed because he admitted to a killing in Vermont or New Hampshire, one of those two New England states, and apparently he had stashed kill kits all across the United States in different states. Like he would go out into the country and bury these kill kits in Home Depot buckets, in like watertight buckets and everything, and then just like would disappear for weeks at a time from his family, and they don't know. There's people all across the country that are like, did he kill my dad? Did he kill my wife? Did he kill my?
I think that's most serial killers though, because they all like
You
try to
never know.
they all try to claim more than they probably actually
Yeah.
did. I don't know. Yeah, it's always nebulous with numbers.
But confirmed kills for him is 1.
yeah,
That's the thing, is like they could never even confirm the 2 that he claimed that he killed in Vermont, an older couple.
Yeah.
So it's just like it was an interesting book.
Speaking of killers, I
read.
do have one that's on my list that you might be interested in.
Go on, I'm listening.
I don't remember the author, but it's called Chaos.
Chaos.
And it is basically looking into the question of, was the CIA behind Charles Manson? Because apparently there's a lot of things with Charles Manson that make no sense.
'Kay.
That, like, you know, times where he was caught with weapons or drugs or underage
Why did he-
girls.
yeah, why did
And
he get off so many
and he
times?
was like on probation. So it's like, why did I, like? So basically, the thought with this book is like, with all the MK Ultra type stuff the CIA was
Yeah.
doing, like we're
Was this a real life experiment?
yeah, and there's actually
Oh.
like a clinic, the Asbury Park Clinic or something like that. That was where they got a bunch of stuff back in the day. Apparently, that clinic only closed in the last year or two. So like it, yeah. So it's called Chaos. Yeah, it's one
Okay.
that's after Return of the King, which is spoiler. It's on my list. It's probably one of the books I'm going to be reading.
Ooh,
soon,
interesting.
so.
And so when I finished American Predator, I started rereading the Harry Potter series. I'm currently in book 4, so I've already read 1 through 3.
Okay.
Again,
Still got to
those are
figure
the-
out how the
those are
Harry
the
Potter's
shortest.
going. I've thrown that at you like a month ago.
I know. We're going to talk about it today. Actually.
Oh, okay.
So-
Okay. My barber keeps bothering me about it.
Good.
So-
Let her know that it's coming. And then I've just been playing Borderlands 3 with the wife, and then I'm replaying Fallout 4, which takes up all of your time. So,
And then the chat, Hayden says now that the R2 clip you have in the intro is him cussing at Anakin.
he just said I never noticed until now.
Indeed. So for me, I didn't realize it. I was looking at my save files.
Yeah.
For the first time in 2 years, I've turned Red Dead Redemption 2 on.
Oh.
Trying to go in and hit up some stuff.
Okay.
So, because I still haven't finished out my 100% attempt.
Got 100%,
So,
yeah.
Now, I will say I almost decided to just give it up because I realized I don't think I was fully in the mindset of 100%ing it when I was in Guarma. But
Yeah.
some people online are saying that none of the stuff there counts
Nope.
against your 100%. So, yeah, I'm
If you want to go into the compendium and see them there, yes. But if you want to go for the achievement, no, they don't count because you're not able to go back.
Yeah. Yeah. So, just threw that on and I started playing. I played it a bit last weekend, a little bit throughout the week. But yeah, when I looked at my last save file, it was like mid 2023.
So you're
I'm
playing
John.
You're playing in the epilogue as John.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
What horse do you rock?
I've been buying horses because apparently there's a bunch of horse breeds that I didn't have, so I've just like obliterated like almost half my money just buying really expensive horses. But
I mean, you can only have 4, so
no, I just buy them and then sell them, which means it takes like half your money because
Yeah.
it's like a
you
car.
only get like $5 when you sell a horse.
pretty much.
Buy it for $950, sell it for
I want to
$5.
say it's an Arabian that I've got.
Black or the rose?
It's like a
reddish.
Yeah, it's got like a red tail.
It's the rose something. I don't remember
Yeah,
what it's
so
called. But yeah, apparently it's the fastest horse in the game.
yeah. Its name is Wanda.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's good.
That's the horse's
That's
name.
good. I like it.
I also have a black horse named Agatha too. So
Oh, there you go.
yeah, it's good stuff. And then on the reading side, I've been reading Daredevil comics. I'm also reading Return of the King, as I said. I'm past everything now. It's the matter of basically like the war is over and stuff. So I've got to get like all the stuff in the kingdom and then move on to the Scouring of the Shire and then that. So yeah, getting close. Also, I didn't realize how little there is for Frodo in that book because it's the same thing as Two Towers where it's like divided in half. You see almost the entire thing, and then it cuts to Frodo. But like Frodo, there's almost nothing there.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, because when you think about it, Shelob is actually in Two Towers, not
Yeah.
Return of the King.
Yeah,
That's in Return of the King, the movie.
yeah.
So when you look at it, it's just that's actually a good question. Is the rescue of Frodo by Sam after Shelob's lair in Two Towers? Or is
No,
that,
Return of the King.
that's in. So you have that, and then walking to Mount Doom.
He finds out that Frodo's still alive. Pretty much is one of the last lines of Two Towers.
Oh,
So,
interesting.
Yeah. So, and then on the watching side, watching Severance, the second to last episode aired yesterday. That's loving that show. I started to rewatch Jessica Jones.
Hey, shit! I forgot to put that on mine. I actually did that too.
Yeah. So
I started that Friday.
I've decided to kind of go through and revisit all the Netflix stuff. Of course, Daredevil Born Again, and then movie-wise, off my shelf, I picked up and watched the movie The Judge. Which netted a Academy Award nomination
De Niro?
for
Downey.
Duvall.
Robert Duvall and Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey
right?
Jr.
Yeah.
So watch that, and then I also went and saw Mickey 17 last weekend. So
How was that?
I enjoyed it a lot. Yeah,
Yeah?
some people seemingly don't like it, but I really enjoyed it. So
Hayden says watching Daredevil Born Again. Daredevil Born Again, real time with Bill Maher. Severance, reading Atomic Habits by James Clear, and The Fourth Turning, playing Super Smash Online. And then my wife says watching Phone Booth, Supernatural, Daredevil, Ghost, Harley Quinn, 30 Rock. I have to note the Supernatural watch is with my daughter. Reading it, playing Disney Dreamlight Valley. So
good stuff. Looks
Yeah.
like a lot of fun stuff. Also glad to see Hayden's started Severance. I feel like the last time I asked him, he wasn't watching that. So
I haven't watched it.
yeah.
I got Apple TV Plus back recently.
You got Apple. That's now I know we're not covering news, but I will say it's now been confirmed that Ted Lasso is coming back for. a
I
first
sent you a
season,
clip
so.
about that yesterday.
It was
didn't
all
I?
it was all the news across
Yeah.
the entire internet. So that's pretty exciting. Not that
Yeah.
it didn't seem like it already wasn't coming, but yeah.
Hayden says he's halfway through season 1.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Love that show. I also heard that the finale for season 2 next week. I've heard rumors that it's like 75 minutes long.
Wow.
So not too bad. Not too shabby.
Not this 23-minute Disney crap.
No, thank God. All right, so let's jump on over to, I guess the only other thing we have other than the main topic is discussing some Daredevil Born Again.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, we had this conversation at work the other day where we started talking about it a little bit, and we're just like, God, do we want to talk about this on the show? It's like, but we have a top 10, and top 10s take forever, and it's like,
Yeah.
screw the news. We're talking Daredevil.
Yeah. So, I mean, the first 3 episodes are out. The first 2 episodes aired the first week, and then we had one other week since then that aired.
I guess we should say spoiler warning, because we are going to talk in depth about these 3, also theorizing about the future of this. Because you have an interesting fact that I told you to save and repeat on the show.
Okay. You might
You
have
wanna-
to spur me, but
Okay, we're going to start with that, actually.
okay.
Is that a lot of people are complaining about how little Daredevil there is in the first 3 episodes.
Yeah.
And you think there's a reason for that because you've covered
We've
the
been,
production
we've
of
been-
this show
We've been covering this pretty
on
much
Geekery Abides.
since day one of this show. We've basically
Basically.
been covering because like originally it was being developed and then like it basically got like kind of like mothballed, and they said where they're basically going to rebuild everything from the ground up, and then there was the writer's strike. So there's been a lot of stuff going on with this show. At one point it was 18 episodes for the first season. Now it's down to 9. The full 18 is going to be the first 2 seasons. But either way, the whole thing with like because also during the making of this they had filmed like 4 episodes or so, and then they realized like it just wasn't working, and that's kind of when they went back to the drawing boards. But they did say they were going to use a lot of the footage they had already filmed, but they were going to film a lot of other stuff, and that's also when Marvel completely changed their entire way of making TV, and now they're going to a more traditional model with showrunners, with potentially pilots that may or may not get picked up.
Isn't there also something about approved scripts, or is that James Gunn and DC?
That's DC.
That is okay.
Yeah. So either way, they're basically going to a more traditional TV sense. I mean, there was obviously some shows like Secret Invasion that was not very well loved. But then on top of it, it was just when this is coming together, it just didn't look right. So that kind of changed everything. So my theory, and one of the things I remember covering like when there was like leaks about like why they were pulling the plug and revamping everything from the ground up. One of the things they said was there was almost no Daredevil in the episodes they had filmed. And it's like, okay, well, that's interesting, because in my head, I'm like, what we've seen, there's very little Daredevil. There was some in the first episode, but it makes me wonder if that part was filmed.
You made a very good point about this.
Yeah.
What you told me when we're talking about this off camera at work is that initially Daredevil Born Again wasn't going to have Karen or Foggy in it.
It was
at all.
It was going to be pretty much a soft reboot.
Yeah, it was basically
going to be
Charlie
Charlie Cox and potentially probably Vincent D'Onofrio, and then no one else. So,
no one else confirmed. No one else at all.
Yeah.
And there was a fight to bring Karen and Foggy back in.
Yeah, which we covered that a few episodes ago, where the showrunner that eventually got hired was like, I was willing to put my job on the line.
Like, if you're not going to do them, I'm walking.
Yeah.
Like, that's it.
So my theory is they weren't in the show at all, which is why Karen has pretty much moved back to California or whatever it was.
San Francisco.
Where she's not really been involved.
Yep.
Foggy, I mean, spoiler alert again.
We warned about spoilers.
Foggy was killed. I also predicted it.
We both
beforehand.
Knew.
There was
we called it the week before.
There was too much.
We talked.
Yeah, there was too
we
much.
talked before the first episode. There was too much Karen in the trailer, and too much Karen in danger in the trailer. That it's like, it's not Karen, it's Foggy. There's almost no Foggy in the trailer.
Yeah, they're bamboozling.
It's because they don't want us thinking about Foggy. They want all the focus on Karen, which means that Foggy's going to die. And we were both right.
And less than like a week prior to the first episode airing, because in the comics it's a very famous thing, kind of like the whatever Robin died, like you have like him holding him in his arms. Like there's also a famous one with like Matt in the Daredevil costume in a church with Karen Page in his arms, and it's the death of Karen Page. It's a super big moment in the comics, kind of like Gwen Stacy. There's just certain events that are like
for each comic character,
for characters, and that is one. And Marvel's official Twitter posted that like 3 or 4 days before the first episode.
And then we talked the next day. We're like, dude, both of us were like, it's not Karen.
Yeah, no, there's no way you post that if you're actually killing Karen.
No.
So, and I was just like 100% they're going to kill Foggy, and that's
exactly what happened.
So, but my thought process is like the reason these ever since that first episode and like Karen walked away, I think now we're seeing the footage that was filmed pre-restart, and that's the good majority of what we've seen, except for some stuff they probably added in, some of the Daredevil stuff and the death of Foggy and stuff.
Right. So Karen and Matt in the hallway. Notice there's no other actors from the show in that scene, just the two of them.
Just the two. So I think that's all shot after the reset, put into the first episode, built around, and then the rest of season 1, some of the like the stuff with the crime and everything, and then the next 2 episodes. I think all of that was filmed before the reset. And because the new showrunner was all about having Karen and Foggy, which of course that's down to just Karen now, whereas the previous show wasn't going to. I was telling Peter, I believe that Karen moving back to California, I think that's for the couple episodes that they didn't film with her there. So then what they're going to do is once we get past...
Something's going to bring her back.
Something's going to bring her back, and I think what's going to happen is once you move past that reset in our real life of like how production works, I think they're going to have her full on in the show heavily. And I think that, so I'm guessing either the next episode, you're going to see the full rebirth of Daredevil, because the system has ultimately failed. And then you're going to see Karen come back and she'll be a big part of the show the rest of the way, because we'll then be 100% past what they filmed when it was going to be a reboot show.
Yeah, which was 4 episodes.
4 episodes, yeah.
Right.
And I'm guessing some of it, I'm not sure they did the entire 4 episodes. They probably chopped some stuff up and didn't carry it, right? Because there's got to be some massaging when you're starting to do a whole new thing. So
Yeah.
there may not be 4 full episodes that were filmed that got used. I think they even told us that, where they're like, we're going to use a lot of what we filmed, but we may not use everything. We may, doctor some stuff up, whatever. So I do believe that for anyone that's wondering why Karen hasn't been around, I have a very strong feeling.
And why we don't have much Daredevil.
Yes, I do. That may not be the next episode, because I still kind of wonder if like the rebirth.
Season 4.
I feel like it's like
episode 4.
the reverberations of what happened at the end of the last episode. I think is what's going to put Matt back into being Daredevil. But I don't know if that's going to be like the first opening scene of the thing. I think it might be the end of the episode, is like the whole episode discovering what's going on a little bit more, and then like realizing like the system's completely fucked. I'm going back to Daredevil. So that's my expectation, my prediction, I suppose.
That's what Tab was talking about. Hayden says in the chat, I was half expecting Drew Goddard to be back involved in some capacity from his Netflix involvement. Yeah, wouldn't have surprised me at all.
It's definitely interesting. I am a little bit sad that it's not 100% just the old crew, but at the same time, so far I'm liking what I'm seeing.
Yeah, it's really good. You did also drop a bomb on me that I didn't realize, is that Camara de los Reyes, which is the actor who plays White Tiger, has unfortunately passed away
in December of 2023. He passed away of cancer.
Over a year ago, he passed away on Christmas Eve 2023. So it's just like that's shocking to me to find out.
And I think they actually had a thing on the credits of episode 2 for him.
Yeah.
So I don't think I connected that that's who it was.
Yeah,
so
I'm not familiar with the character yet and the actor. I get to learn actors. I couldn't tell you the actor's name for Karen Page. I don't remember her name.
Yeah.
So when I get really familiar with actors, then it's like, oh, okay. But unfortunately, we lost the White Tiger. We lost the actor who played him. So kind of makes.
I will say in the comics,
no one stays dead.
There is a niece that eventually takes over the thing, and there was a niece mentioned.
She was shown in the courtroom.
So I mean it's comic books, so there may be somebody else to step in. So
Hayden says, I did say that in our group chat that I love the title sequence of this new one, and
I was going to ask
now how it's an homage to the OG, and the melody is similar to the theme.
Yeah, I was going to ask you what you thought of the intro. You don't like it?
Fucking hate it.
Really,
dude. Okay, you know what? It's really quite simple. It's okay. It's a good intro. It's fine. I watched it. I skipped it in episode 2.
Really?
I watched it with episode 1. I skipped it with episode 2 because I'm like, this is just bullshit. This is blasphemy. And then episode 3, I watched it again. Okay, it's a good intro.
Because I will say my first thought is I was just hoping for the original.
I was too.
And so I was a little bit put aback when it wasn't it. But then with episode 2 and 3, I watched it and did appreciate it for what it is. I think it's a perfect like new thing, but also it feels very reminiscent of the old. So it's like I feel like it's playing both sides very well of like being its own new thing, so it does feel like a new show, because this is a new show.
It is a new show. And I get it. I really do. I really do get that it is a new show, so it's going to have a new theme and everything like that. And Hayden's 100% right, 1,000% right. It beautifully incorporates the original into it and everything like that, and then it also has like in the original it's the wax dripping, in this one it's the concrete, the concrete jungle. It's New York. So it's good, but for me it's just don't fuck with perfection. There's 9 Star Wars movies that show me, even when we go into the Disney era, they didn't do a new theme. Why?
No,
because it's fucking perfect.
But they dropped the 20th Century Fox fanfare.
That doesn't change the opening theme. The opening theme of Star Wars is still the opening theme of Star Wars. Daredevil has one of the best themes of any TV show in the existence of television.
The theme is referenced in the new intro.
Again, referenced versus just play that. I don't care if you just take it and put it over a new graphic. That would have been fine with me. If they had done that graphic with like the concrete and everything like that, but it was the original theme, I'd have been fine. But the fact that you have to like redo it, we have to do our original one and everything like that. No, just don't fuck with perfection.
Yeah.
It's a grilled cheese sandwich. You put 2 pieces of bread, you put a slice of cheese between it, and you fucking grill it. Like, that's it. You don't need to do anything else beyond that. It's perfection. Don't mess with it. It's that simple.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it quite a bit, but I mean,
I give it a 7 out of 10.
It took me the first episode though. I did struggle with it just because it wasn't the original. But I do appreciate it for what it is for sure. But I know we've kind of jumped kind of all over the place a little bit. We haven't even talked about like we kind of mentioned in passing that Foggy was killed.
Yeah, so. Foggy. That opening
by
scene,
Bullseye too.
That opening scene was amazing. Like everything at the. And you know what the worst part, and I saved this. I did not say a word about this to you. I said it to my wife, which is allowed. But see, my wife throwing truth bombs in the chat like that is not allowed.
And I'd say that's untrue. I think if you add anything to grilled cheese, it's no longer grilled cheese.
It's
Completely
a melt.
different.
It's a melt.
Yeah,
at that
exactly.
point. Yeah, because she says, "What about adding bacon?"
Because like there's like the grilled ham and cheese
So.
that I remember growing up was always a thing.
Hayden agrees with my wife.
Yeah, no, to me, grilled cheese is just cheese. If it's anything else, you're making a different sandwich.
You're making a different sandwich.
So.
You got a point there, Ted. I like the way you think. And see, that's the way I feel about the theme. If you're doing anything different, it's not that. It's not the original. It's not good. No, it is good. It's just not as good. But I will have to say, what the fuck does Marvel have against beautiful men with beautiful beards? Captain America's and now Foggy's. We've lost 2 beautiful beards instantly. Instantly.
I remember
gone too soon.
I remember in Endgame being next to you when he shaves.
I was so pissed. And then Foggy's beard is so glorious.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes, Foggy has a beard. And then I'm like, no. And then he gets shot. And I'm like, you motherfuckers. Taken too soon. Foggy's beard.
Yeah, that was and it was rough. Now the whole thing is, obviously the fight then with Bullseye.
Oh, so good.
And then trying to kill him. You know, that was
just yeeted him off a roof.
Yeah.
Whoop.
And I think that the ultimate thing to look at with the last couple episodes is there's multiple facets to it in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
So why is he not being Daredevil? Why is he abandoned Daredevil?
Yeah.
Kingpin asks him that, and he says a line was crossed. So it's like if you take that at face value, okay, it means that because he tried to kill Bullseye, he no longer feels he can be Daredevil like that.
He can't trust himself.
Yeah. Now I will say there's the facet that I really like is when just rewatching the entire show was throughout the entire 3 seasons ever since Foggy finds out, which is midway through season 1 if I remember right. So Karen takes longer, but Foggy
doesn't find out until season 3.
Yeah. So
actually, I think she finds out in Defenders, doesn't she?
No, she finds out in season 3.
Is it season 3? Okay.
Yeah.
It was kind of ambiguous because she doesn't find out in season. I just finished Daredevil.
Yeah.
Season 3 on Thursday night.
Oh, okay.
So I finished the last 3.5 episodes. I was halfway through episode 10.
Because season 3 is the Elektra.
No, 2. Season 2.
Oh, that's
Elektra.
right. It's the second part of that's right. After the Frank Castle stuff.
Yeah.
So, I will say the biggest thing with Foggy since he finds out about Daredevil is constantly being against it. So much so that it almost breaks their friendship. But
he leaves the firm and joins another firm.
But he constantly is telling him like you've got to do it with the law, not Daredevil. Daredevil's not the way to do it.
That's
the law
the whole thing in season 3.
And that's the finale of season 3 is ultimately embracing that it is the legal side that's going to do it. You're never going to.
They try to get Nadeem and everything like that. And to bring down Fisk and everything. And the funny thing is that I noticed this, and I know we're supposed to be talking about Born Again, but this ties into it, is that in season 3 of Daredevil, he gives up, and he's like, well, Nadeem's dead. Like, we tried it your way, Foggy. It didn't work. Now I'm going to go kill him.
Yeah.
And he grabs his jacket, and he leaves the gym where they're all hiding out.
Yeah.
And then the funny thing is, Foggy's way does work.
Yeah.
It is Nadeem that brings him down. It is the legal system that brings him down because of that dying declaration that Nadeem made.
Yeah.
It's not Daredevil that did it.
Yeah.
If Matt had not gone after Fisk,
it still
the only thing that would have happened is that Poindexter would have killed both him and Vanessa.
Yeah.
But if he had gone there just to save him from Poindexter, Fisk still would have gone to prison.
Yeah.
Actually, Vanessa probably would have too.
And also, Kingpin's pretty hard to perish, though, so I don't know if Poindexter can get the job done. Think of the MCU. He got shot in the fucking eye, and he survived.
That's true. That's in Hawkeye. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're right.
But
Vanessa would have been dead.
But the end of my point is I do think that Matt's dedication to the law and giving up Daredevil might partially be to Poindexter, but I also think it's a living tribute to Foggy. It's fully embracing everything that Foggy had been asking him for years. And it's like once Foggy dies, it's a matter of embracing that, like, fine.
It's honoring his friend.
Yeah, exactly. So now when the system ultimately now proves to him that it's broken, that's when you're going to see Daredevil come back, because now it's a matter of like, I did the best. I went, however long it's been now without being Daredevil. Like, I did all that to do it the right way, and it's obviously failed. So
yeah, see, I think this is where we need to start talking about.
I guess I didn't change the slide. Sorry.
That's okay.
There we go.
I think this is where we need to talk about what happened to the White Tiger. So, the White Tiger is arrested for murder because he tries to break up a fight on a subway platform.
Yeah.
Between two plainclothes police officers, detectives.
Yeah, and a CI.
Who were roughing up a CI, a confidential informant.
Yeah.
And one of them went to go, like, lunge at him, tackle him, and he just sidestepped him, and the dude ended up splattered in front of a train.
Yeah.
And then the other guy pulls his gun and badge and says, NYPD, get on the ground.
Yeah.
You just murdered a cop.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting dynamic because, like, he doesn't suit up for it. He's just, the everyday dude. And I love that Matt tries to suppress it and then brings it up in court himself. And the judge is all pissed at him. That's such a lawyer thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, lawyers are scumbags to some extent. And Matt shows his stripes right there. Stripes, White Tiger, stripes.
And then, like, outs him without his permission.
He should have asked me. He's like, I know.
Yeah.
All this whole time is kind of hypocritical because he's sitting there with this secret that he was Daredevil, everything. But then after...
I'm going to just pause for a second.
Yeah.
He gets exposed by the end of this season.
Oh, yeah,
Matt
absolutely.
does.
Absolutely, Matt does. Especially because here's the thing. I had this thought, too. If Fisk loses Vanessa, Fisk loses Matt loses the leverage over Fisk to keep his secret.
Yeah.
And I think that's what does it, is that I think that Vanessa and Fisk continue to splinter. I think they end up going to a divorce.
Also, I love what they've done with Vanessa. The fact that she's like, because she was always
so badass.
At first, she's just a normal person, and it always feels like a weird, like, oh, I'm dating a pretty terrible person. But it's like slowly over the 3 seasons and then into this, like, she went from like slowly embracing things. Like, in season 2, there was a couple things where it was like, wait, what are you saying, lady? And then season 3, she's like,
kill Nadeem.
Yeah, kill him.
She's the one that orders the death of Agent Nadeem.
Yeah, to then in this show, she's like running the fucking show. I love that. Like, it's the perfect like downfall, like Breaking Bad element of Vanessa over the course of now 4 seasons, and I adore it. So
I will say it actually caught me off guard in my rewatch of Daredevil, as I was expecting more than what you're describing with Vanessa, the hesitation, I don't know if I want to get involved with. So there's none of that. Yeah. Like, if you go back and rewatch her scenes with Fisk, she's so intrigued by him. She's so into him from moment one.
I think
there's not even like
except for bringing the gun.
Not even like a should I? Well, even that. If she was hesitant at all, she wouldn't have shown up at all.
Yeah,
she brought the gun for protection.
Yes,
because she's interested.
Oh, for sure. I'm not going to say that she was like the babe led to the slaughter. No, there is an element of knowing.
There's an element there. There's not even an element there. That what it is for her is it's just like I remember it differently. I remember her being like, oh, should I? Should I not? I mean, he's a bad guy, should I? No, dude, like she fully embraces it from like their second date. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Like, she's in.
Yeah.
He just tries to shield her from it. It's more Fisk trying to keep her out. And when she comes back in season 3 and she's back, the very first time that banking guy comes in, he's like, not in front of Vanessa. And she's all pissed about it. She's like, you're keeping me at arm's length. Like, this isn't right.
Yeah.
And so she's like, so to see her continue that evolution into Born Again, not reverting back to something that she never was, but to see her progress forward, great writing.
Yeah.
It really is. It's great writing for Vanessa.
Yeah. Let's see. Episode 1, I will say, although Daredevil stuff was pretty incredible.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very cool. The suit, doing the swinging, which only happened once in the Netflix show.
Yeah, and it was like a random, like, oh, I hear someone screaming, swing, and then that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, they only ever did it the once in the show, so in the Netflix show. But then I saw some people bitching about like the court case taking up too much time and not enough Daredevil, but I was like, you know what? I'm the opposite, because I remember being pissed in season 2 that the trial of Frank Castle wasn't like half the season. Like it was only a couple episodes long, and it's like I wanted the show to almost transform into a courtroom drama where it's like we've seen a lot of Daredevil for a season. Let's now see Matt Murdock, not a whole season, but let's see Matt Murdock for a long stretch. And
4 episodes,
and we just never did.
We got 2,
and like on rewatch, I ended up liking the second season more than I did the first time because it's like now that I kind of know what it was, I was able to just embrace it.
Yeah,
and I love the second season. But the first time through, I was a little bit pissed because I was like, I just wanted a little bit more like Matt courtroom. Like I thought the like Trial of the Century Frank Castle would be like 4 or 5 episodes long, and it would just be this huge.
We hear the Trial of the Century, you think of O.J. Simpson, right? Because that's the Trial of the Century for us.
Yeah, well, there's
when
like
we were
25 Trials of the Century,
but O.J.'s the one for us that defines our childhood. You know, when that happened when we were kids, like even then we were way too small to be learning about murder and stuff like that. But we knew what was going on because everyone wanted to know what happened.
Yeah,
but that took years for it to, culminate and everything like that. And then the trial itself lasted months.
Yeah.
And everything. This was, 2, maybe a half of another episode? And that was the whole trial.
Yeah, pretty much nothing.
And Matt's not there for half of it because Elektra keeps pulling him away.
Yeah.
I will say that I was talking to you before I finished season 2. And you were like, oh, season 3 is some of the best stuff. I'm like, man, don't sleep on season 2. This is really good. After rewatching season 3, dude, I was so fucking wrong.
Yeah,
season 3 is so goddamn good.
And like just the hype that they had given us about what season they had in store for season 4, like Drew Goddard and the whole crew. Everyone that I've seen that like saw any of the scripts is like it was like leaps ahead of what season 3 was. I'm like, I'll always have a slight bit of like, I wish I could have seen what that was.
Yeah,
like I'm loving what we're seeing here, but yeah. I do love the fact that this is more Foley in the MC universe. The fact that like White Tiger's showing up is really cool. Obviously, the other big thing that we have going on is Crooked Cops.
Yes. So that's we need to do. We do need to talk about this. Is that we have already 2 instances.
They tried to take out the witness.
Yep.
And Matt got there first. I love to see the flash where the blind lawyer beats up the 2 cops.
And then they were going to kill Matt.
Yeah,
they were gonna straight up execute Matt.
He didn't fight until that.
Nope, not until they put a gun to his head.
Yeah.
Fisk referenced Spider-Man.
Yeah,
that's what Hayden says in the chat. Does he really?
Yeah, I forget what it was now. It's because when he's talking about vigilantes. He mentioned something that Spider-Man. I don't remember the wording, but he definitely full on references Spider-Man.
I did see someone post something on the TV subreddit or Marvel subreddit where it's like, why didn't they make the hole that Fisk is filling in Spider-Man's hole? Like Spider-Man caused it fighting someone, and Fisk is like, this was caused by that web-slinging vigilante.
Yeah,
that's all they had to say, and it's like, I keep my promises, and it's like, but no, he's just like. It's just a hole.
Also, in the courtroom when they're referencing some White Tiger pro things, one of the ones was Officer Morales. So a lot of people are wondering,
Miles, well, no, it's Officer Jefferson Davis.
Yeah, but that's an objectively terrible name
for Miles Morales' dad.
Yeah, the name of the president of the Confederate States of America.
That's true, yeah.
So I've hated that since 2011 when the character was debuted. And
why is he called Jefferson Davis, but Miles has the last name of his mom?
Yeah, I don't know.
Why?
It's retarded. I hate it. It's the stupidest thing. I will say, though, the animated movies.
Across the universe.
They changed him to Morales.
Did they?
The dad. So I'm hoping that they'll just embrace that and just maybe we got a little bit of it. But I do think legally they cannot use Spider-Man in any of the TV shows.
Hayden says Nick Fury's birth name is Robert E. Lee.
Yeah, it's just I've never looked into it much, but it just makes me wonder, like 2011, like there was Google. Like somebody could have just Googled when they're writing this character out and been like, oh, Jefferson Davis, let's look that up to see.
Yeah, maybe we should name a black cop that.
Yeah, like such an important black character, like to have his dad name that. It's just I've never liked it. So so that ultimately there are crooked cops. Now I think we all assume that they're all 100% tied to Fisk, right?
I mean, you would think so, but
or Vanessa.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, so Fisk has been out of the mafia. I don't know what you want to call them. The crime game for a while now.
Yeah.
But also at the
recovering
same
from a bullet hole.
Yeah, also at the same time, we do have to acknowledge the fact that 2 of these police officers have very distinctly had Punisher tattoos.
Yeah.
Hayden just said it. Yeah, well, the Punisher tattoo showed up a few times on Crooked Cops.
Yeah.
And then, of course,
on the street, there's a few times you see some graffiti and stuff.
that's Punisher,
so,
yeah.
Yeah.
So let's get this out of the way. Let's talk about this. Is there a Punisher cult out there?
I don't know
With
if it's
the cops
I don't
and
know if it's a
everything?
cult. I think it's just a matter of people trying to like what's the name when you like take something that really doesn't belong to you. There's a word for that. I think that's what's happening though is they're essentially and which is I love that they're doing this because I think there's real people that are doing this in our world where like you'll see some of the worst kind of people that put Punisher stickers on like their trucks or their guns or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, you have no understanding of who Punisher is if you think that like
they appropriate.
Yes, appropriate.
Thank you, Hayden.
That's the word I'm trying to think of.
Yeah.
But it's them appropriating it, I think. Now I do kind of wonder if it is its own thing or if it is tied to Fisk. I should never trust Fisk, but there is so much with the Vanessa thing that I'm like, is he really just trying to go straight?
No. I'm telling you right now. I'm going on record right now that after episode 1, Fisk is behind everything.
I mean,
I am not going to say otherwise. I am not going to doubt it in any way, shape, or form until this season is done, or Fisk is dead, or it's revealed that it was someone else. But even if it's revealed that it's someone else, I'm still going to think that Fisk is behind it in some way. That dude has screwed me over so many times for making me think that he's turned over a new leaf or something. Like, no, I'm not falling for it this time.
The Vanessa thing is what made me wonder, though, because he's always been so open with her that where she seems to like want to keep pushing, and he's like, I'm not doing that anymore. Although there was the bloody knuckles.
Twice. They've shown his knuckles bloody twice.
So do you think
I'm not falling for that.
Do you think her fling is still alive?
Yeah, he is.
Just
You saw him under the bridge.
what?
Isn't that him? The guy that gets all pissy, like if he wants to come talk to me, he can come talk to me. The guy says, I'm not working for him.
Oh,
Isn't that him?
I don't know.
I thought that was him.
I don't know if it is, but we've seen bloody knuckles.
Well, because we saw him at the table, right? He's sitting there with Vanessa.
I don't know
like
the name. I don't know the name enough.
His
to know
name's
if that's...
Adam. That's all I know. So maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But either way, I think he's still alive because if he wasn't, Vanessa would know.
Yeah, potentially. I also don't think he would lie to her in that way. When he gave his word that he wouldn't kill him, I actually believe that because it is Vanessa, right?
I also you're also supposed to believe that he's turning over a new leaf and everything like that. But I'm telling you right now,
well, getting shot might change someone in some ways.
No, might change someone. You're right. Might change someone, not Kingpin.
Yeah. Oh, and also let's just throw it out there. So at the very end of episode 3, White Tiger's shot.
By someone wearing a Punisher
he was
shirt.
told to like leave it all behind.
Yep.
You escaped this one, but whatever. Then we see him suiting up to a Slayer song, if I remember right, which is pretty funny. And then he is then seen to be shot, and then we see a Frank Castle-esque vest,
Punisher vest. Yeah. No face shown.
No, but there are so many people believing it's actually Punisher, dude. I just don't.
Yeah,
get
he
it.
was wearing the amulet too. Hayden's right. So he had like extra strength and reflexes and everything like that. So.
Yeah. There's no way it's Frank.
It's not Frank.
There's just no way. I mean,
It's not Frank.
There's so many people online I'm seeing that are just saying like, "Oh my god, I can't believe Frank could do that." I'm like, no.
Here's the simple answer, right? And I played devil's advocate when I was talking to you about this at work the other day. Even if Frank believes that the White Tiger is guilty of murder, and that he just got away with it, why wouldn't he be going after everyone else? He's not going after everyone.
Yeah.
This is the first vigilante that's been executed.
Frank likes vigilantes. Like he just does. So
he doesn't like the methods that Red does. He calls him Red. He doesn't
he doesn't.
But he doesn't go after Daredevil ever.
No, he doesn't dislike it, and he just thinks that it's ineffective. It's me versus Batman. It's like when I say that like Frank could clean up Gotham in a weekend. You might disagree, but it's like that's just the way I view it. It's like how many times does Arkham have to everyone break out for Batman to realize like this isn't working to just keep like that so but I don't think he hates anything about Daredevil except for the fact that he thinks you're ineffective. Everything you do just they get back out and
he's like you're not doing it. That's what the whole thing in season 2, the rooftop conversation,
which is so cool.
What do you do?
It's one of
you
my
beat
favorite.
them up and put them in prison. I put them in the ground and they stay down. You know, like they don't get back up after me.
Yeah.
So I don't see the logic behind Frank all of a sudden showing up out of nowhere and killing White Tiger. No, it's got to be It's got to be this contingent, and I'm calling it a cult.
And I think that they've given us plenty of hints. Hayden mentioned the tattoos. There's the graffiti. You see a lot of Punisher iconography that's been splattered throughout these 3 episodes that I think is like giving you hints.
Yeah.
All the hints you need to know, like if you're paying attention, that it's like, no, that wasn't Frank. And also what's going to happen when Frank finds out that these people are.
I think that's where we're heading, is that I think that's why I'm using the word cult, and I know you don't agree with that. That is not what's happening, you don't think. But to me, it's kind of what it feels like, is that someone has taken a symbol and is making it their own.
Yes, they're appropriating his symbols.
And they're coming up with, for lack of a better word, kind of a religion that, hey, you know what? Law and order doesn't work anymore, so we're going to deal out Old West justice.
And to me, I think it's like the hockey pad people in Dark Knight. It's essentially what it is, right? What's different between you and me?
I'm not wearing hockey pads.
Except that it's a matter of now these people are trying to replicate Punisher. And it's like if you look at Punisher without understanding his code and stuff and just look at like what he did for like in a black and white sense, like you would just be like, oh, okay, you just got to go kill people that are like against you.
That have done bad things.
Well, he
got away with murder. I should kill him. That's why they killed White Tiger, kind of thing. Is that's what I'm saying? Is like they're not thinking like normal, which kind of always brings to mind like cults. You know, like they're brainwashed, that kind of thing, and everything, and indoctrinated and everything.
And that's where I don't think that's the part I don't like, because I don't think they are. I think they're just people that are like, you know.
See, but to me, the fact that it's infiltrated the police and everything like that makes me think that there is a hierarchy, and I think that's what Matt's going to go after Frank. Because the only time you see Frank in the trailer is Matt grabs him, Frank, it's me. Frank looks like he's in the fucking gulag. He has like a beard. It looks like a prison setting kind of thing. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Frank is somewhere in like Pierre, South Dakota, sleeping it off his last 5-day bender that he just had, and that he's just done with everything.
Yeah.
And I think that Matt's going to go find him and be like, dude, I need your help stopping these people who think you're God.
Yeah.
And talk them down. That's the only way to do it, is talk them down. Tell them that this isn't how you...
Talk them down in 9mm increments.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, Matt won't want that.
No, Matt wouldn't want... No, but I think what he
Frank
wants...
finds out, though, this isn't going to be pretty.
No, but what I think Matt wants Frank to do is to just go public and be like, this isn't what I want. I think that's what Matt's going to tell him.
Yeah.
And I think that what you're saying is that when Matt does that, that's going to unleash the Punisher on the Punisher cult.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have the Punisher versus the Punisher cult while Matt's trying to be like, no! You know, the whole thing.
I can't wait. I can't wait for some Frank action.
And I want to go back to something that Hayden said a little while ago, and I glossed over it. Talking about Kingpin, he seems to want Vanessa to let the families and territories kill each other so he doesn't have to. Then he has only one left to take over. That's a brilliant assessment of it.
Yeah.
And literally what Kingpin did in Season 3.
Yeah.
He used the FBI to take them all down so he could fill the void.
He did the classic, what's the dude's name that they based The Departed on? That's what he did.
Oh,
the Irish mobster in Boston. That was a
use the feds to take down all your competition and then fill the void.
Yeah.
While being protected by the feds is what Fisk did in Season 3.
Yeah.
But here he's using Vanessa to do it.
Yeah. I think we should probably go to our top 10 here pretty quick. I do think that's most of what I wanted to cover. I don't know if you had anything else, but like,
no,
we're going to make this a regular staple.
I
mean, we'll see if there's any massive news. We might have to like whatever, but like for now, for the next couple episodes, I want to like kind of recap what we've.
Yeah.
And I think this will be the most we had to cover because we did 3 episodes. I think the rest of the way we'll only have a couple episodes at a time. So
every 2 weeks. So
I will say I love this.
It's good
show.
so far. Yeah, it's really good.
It's been great.
Only knock on it is the intro.
Oh, Peter being a hater. All right, so let's move on over, and that's actually not too far removed because in both cases we're talking comics here. So the main topic we're talking is top 10 comic book film castings, and I guess in my mind I just thought it was obvious, but live action.
Oh, you said film?
No, I mean just no. Just comic book. Well, I guess I have that on the screen, but that's no. I just said
Oh,
adaptation.
you scared me. I have non-film. I have series and TV shows. So, you scared me. Tom.
Yeah,
I
no,
thought you were meaning just movies.
No, let me
Okay.
get over here, and I could edit that because I didn't know I did shows too. So just live action
okay.
comic book castings is what I had originally said. So there we go. Is it updated now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So that's what we're covering. And basically, when I was rewatching Daredevil, this came to my mind.
Yeah.
So now I did give myself the out of saying that just because that's what inspired this does not mean that that means I have to put those certain people on my list. Because I do think there's going to be some areas you might be surprised on my list. So.
I'm guaranteed that there's at least one surprise on my list for you.
So I'm going to define my how I went about reasoning this, and it's going to explain why. Even because when I get into my honorable mentions, you're going to be quite disappointed.
Okay.
Probably. But here's my rationale: is because these characters exist in comics, some of them for 60, 70 years. What I'm mostly trying to look at is who are people in my mind that have been cast and to me, I can never visualize someone else being
Gotcha.
in that, like, and I wouldn't want to be an actor to have to try to take that role. Now that does mean there's some people that have already been recast a few times that may not make the list because, like, yeah,
Okay.
we'll definitely get there. But that's kind of how I approach the list, and I did say I was going to leave it open so people can you could do it however you want. But that's how I was going to go about it. Ultimately, is like that. So that's how I'm defining it.
Sure.
So yeah, when there's some surprises, that's kind of my.
Well, if we're going off of like that for you, I don't think there's not gonna be many surprises unless you're gonna be like, well, this person doesn't symbolize. I can't think about this person. I'm like, dude, what the fuck ever. That's
Now,
all you think about.
The other thing I'm going to say is this is one of the hardest lists we've ever had to do, in my opinion. Now, you may argue the episode list or whatever.
Dude,
but
the episode list was way harder than this one.
But this one was, and for me, it's just because of how stout this list is. And I also have on our subheading here, one of the biggest reasons this is hard is because of the brilliant Sarah Haley Finn, which is the MCU casting director. And I found a website that actually kind of recaps like different film like level people and what their box office take is.
Oh boy.
And so Sarah Haley Finn is the #1 casting director in film history.
Obviously, if she's casting for the MCU.
But not just obviously though, because here's the thing that surprised me because it makes sense. So it's 12.27 billion that she's made. The next person has made 6.8 billion. So it's
okay.
over double what the next person has. But here's the part that's surprising. Sarah has done it in 63 movies.
Uh-huh.
The #2 that has half the box office
Yeah.
did it in 120 movies.
Wow.
So Sarah is
half the movies, double the profit.
yeah, exactly. So she's just an absolute fucking legend.
Yeah.
Like, that's just like, do you have the round of applause? So she's the MCU wizard, and this isn't restricted to the MCU. This could be anything comic books, but that is kind of something I wanted to call out.
Yeah.
So honorable mentions wise, though, let's just hit those off the top of the list.
So before we jump into that, I want to tell you about
sure.
my how I came up with my list. My big thing is that one of the things is that I have to be familiar with the character. So that may be where some of the surprises on my list may have got you. Because I have to send my list to you before.
Yeah, for the
So
slides,
I've never seen your list, but you've seen my list.
Yeah, which is always fun for me.
So there may be a couple on here that you're just like, really, Peter? How is that person not that low or something like that?
Yeah.
So
I will say there's a number of yours that you're going to be revealing very high things on my list.
My low ones.
Some of your low ones are a little bit high on my list.
Yeah. So I what I want to explain is that I didn't do one criteria. I did several. One is how well of a job acting wise was it? 2, how well do I know the character and how well did they portray the character?
Yeah.
Because that's the thing is like when you look at some of these characters, I've never read a Daredevil comic.
Yeah.
I've never read a Spider-Man comic, So like some of these characters, it's like, how can I say that, this character was played by this actor so well when I've never read the source material? So that plays a part of it. And then also the last one, smallest part, is what you said. Can I picture this character without this person?
Yeah.
And that's where that started as my smallest and slowly turned into one of my bigger things. Is that how well do I know the source material, and can I see this character played by anyone else ever again? So
Okay. Sweet. So I've got 4. What do you got?
I got 3.
Okay, so go ahead and do your honorable mentions, and I'll do mine. Then we'll jump into the lists.
My honorable mentions: Danny DeVito as Penguin.
Could be worse.
I mean,
Those could be gushing blood.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's pretty hard to. I mean,
there have been
Colin Farrell's done
Colin Farrell has his Penguin, but again, for me, there's a difference between comic accurate and
Yeah.
dark and gritty.
Yeah,
Frank
for
Miller,
sure.
you know.
Also,
and
Rocky's
everything.
trainer didn't do bad in the '66 Batman.
No.
as Penguin.
And we also have like the animated ones as well and everything.
That always
like
throws
that.
me
So,
off that it's Rocky's trainer.
Yeah.
Is the Penguin.
Shouldn't be. No, my other 2 honorable mentions is J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson,
Okay.
and then Kelsey Grammer as Beast.
Okay, that's respectable for sure.
So-
Now I will say, I was trying to be very discerning too. Again, with my my way of going about it, and I ended up with 5 on my Fox shotgun list, 5 on my Sony shotgun list, and then 17 on my MCU list.
Good Lord. I had a total of 17 on my shotgun list.
The MCU is very tough, man.
The
'cause
MCU's stacked.
There are a bunch. I mean, just looking it over. I'm trying to think of some of the ones that didn't make mine. Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange. Spoiler, it's not mine, but just so perfect. I mean, he just absolutely embodies it. Chadwick Boseman as the Black Panther. Let's see who else. Oscar Isaac as Moon Knight. These aren't my honorable mentions. I just wanted to look at some of the ones where like they just didn't make the cut. But like, dude, Oscar.
All 3 of those made my shotgun list, as well as Elizabeth Olsen as Wanda. So
Catherine Hahn as Agatha.
oh yeah, she's great.
So yeah. What else do you got?
That's my
Oh,
honorable.
you got yours. All right, so I'm gonna hit my honorable mentions. I got 4 of them. I'm gonna go a certain direction, so I save one for the last.
Okay.
My first one, Willem Dafoe as Green Goblin. That's just he just so embodies that fucking batshit character. He's done it over multiple films now.
The
in different
arguing with
universes.
himself and everything.
Yeah, you
Oh,
coward.
so-
Do it. Yeah. So yeah, Willem Dafoe, Green Goblin. Actually, I guess I just spoiled one of them because Catherine Hahn did make my honorable mention.
Oh,
She
okay.
almost made the cut. She just absolutely embodied that role so much. And then the one that actually, interestingly, because it's been played by multiple characters, but you can vouch for the fact that I've been saying for 15 or 20 years that I don't think anyone ever captured this role perfectly until this one is Tom Holland as Spider-Man. Now, I know that some people love the other 2 in nostalgic ways, but you can vouch for 20 years I've been saying that neither of those 2 are perfect. You know, like they're good aspects of the role, but neither of those 2 are the total package.
Right.
And I feel like Tom is the total package for Spider-Man in my mind, and Peter Parker.
It's a lot like some of the Batmans. It's like there's always that discussion about 90s and earlier. Who played the best Batman?
Yeah.
Well, George Clooney was the best,
Bruce Wayne.
Bruce
yeah.
Wayne, but Val Kilmer was the best Batman, and Michael Keaton was the best overall. And it's like, but none of them captured all of it.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying
Yeah.
about Spider-Man until Tom Holland.
Yeah, exactly. And then the one that might surprise you the most on my honorable mentions is Patrick Stewart
What the actual fuck?
as Charles Xavier.
What the actual fuck are you talking about?
I'm gonna. Again, I know he's the most iconic, and he's been in this role for the longest.
It's the fucking thumbnail on the show.
I know. I think what it just comes down to is that what's his name embodied the role and did
James
a pretty
McAvoy?
did a pretty good job too. Now, I will say that Patrick is still the Xavier, and that's why he because again, this is a tough list, man. Like when that's where my honorable mentions. It was just a matter of like these are on my list for sure, and it was just a matter of I've got to weed out a couple of them. So
I don't know who I'm sitting across from, guys. This is obviously not Tad. I can't believe that. Honorable mention for Patrick Stewart as Xavier?
yeah,
Tad.
McAvoy is part of the problem, but
Fassbender and Ian McKellen played Magneto, but that didn't bump them off the list. Yeah, scandalous. Thank you, Hayden. What is this?
I'm a body snatcher.
Obviously.
And again, I will say that as well as my list, my top 10, the honorable mentions too, all of these are like the fucking cream of the crop in my mind. Like, even the rankings got hard where it was like, how do I rank this? And it's the same with these 4 that fell off. These aren't just honorable mentions like, oh, like they were kind of close. No, these are like ones that like I was excruciating to get this list boiled down.
Yeah, it was hard for me to say no to Penguin and Kelsey Grammer and
Lydia
everything.
says she's shocked.
Yeah, we all are because every single time we've had this conversation as friends, and I've known you for over 25 years. Every single time we've had this conversation, the first ones out of your mouth, and we can go back to last episode, the first words out of your mouth when you said perfect comic book casting, favorite comic book castings, you said, like Patrick Stewart as Charles Xavier. And then he's an honorable mention?
Okay, I'm going to tell you the exact reason why we'll get to is my number 10 is the number one reason.
Show me your number 10.
So, I have you going first. I have the whole slideshow set up. I've actually, dude, I spent like almost 4 hours getting this slideshow set up because I have it programmed in a way now where I should be able to push like one button. And I'm not doing slideshows. I did individual pictures for everything.
Okay.
So it's not like the whole trying to trade slides. So this should run smoother, but it was a lot more prep time to actually get it all done.
All right, let's see it. My number 10 then.
All right, so your number 10. All right, there we go. I guess I do still have to flip it.
Whoop.
That's the wrong button. There we go. I thought it would just pull. So I do still have to hit the one slide.
Yeah.
But I don't have to like worry about picture whatever.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Grant Gustin is the Flash in the Flash TV show.
That's a good one. That's probably the one where I saw where I was like, oh man, I didn't even think about that. That's a good one.
That's the one that when I saw what's the dipshit's name that plays him in the movies?
Ezra Miller.
The one that's gone fucking nuts.
Yeah.
And gone insane.
Yeah.
He went full trash can mode and just stayed there.
No, don't do that.
No.
Because he was absolutely atrocious as Trash Can Man.
That's true. He was terrible.
He was freaking. I don't even get it.
He absolutely nailed Flash. I didn't know anything about Flash, but when I was watching the Flash and the Arrowverse and everything like that, when I was really into it, our friend Caden, who's a huge Flash fan, like that's his favorite superhero. Me and him had long talks about who the Flash is and everything like that. So again, this goes back to how much do I know about the character.
Yeah.
The reason why he's so low is because he's still just a speedster.
I mean, that's fair. I made the comment to you the other day where it was like, because they said about Daredevil season 3, it's like, man, is this the first time you've seen a superhero shot and killed on screen?
Yeah.
I mean, in Marvel at least, because I don't know about the rest. But there's like multiple comments saying Quicksilver. And I told you, after I took the screen grab, I had commented on one of them. I said, no, he said superhero.
He's just a speedster.
They're the worst. I hate speedsters.
Iconic, though. Fastest character comes in last.
All right. So, I guess.
All right, so your number 10 is the reason why Xavier didn't make this list.
Yes. And I will say, the part of it is the McAvoy, and it's not a huge part, but it's a sliver of the reason.
Yeah.
And here's why. Number 10 for me is Tom Hiddleston as Loki. I can never see anyone embody that role ever other than him.
Right.
And it's like because Patrick Stewart has already been embodied by someone else.
Yeah.
To me, like Tom Hiddleston, and like the other thing I did kind of equate into this too is like which characters have done a lot of heavy lifting, and like Loki's got how many seasons of show, as well as like he was the main villain of Avengers. He was like the Thor.
Sure.
He's been doing some heavy lifting throughout the MCU for a long time. So, and I can never imagine someone having to like try to fill that role 30, 40 years from now. Like I don't see it. I don't know how you could do it. Like
Hayden's Lydia says so good about Tom Hiddleston, and then Hayden says, I was legit going to guess this, Tad.
Really?
I don't see how Loki keeps Charles Xavier off of this list.
Because McAvoy, that's the thing that hedged it out. It was a small thing, but it was like when it came down to McAvoy's already embodied the role and did a great job. Whereas Hiddleston, it's just like, I just don't know how you could ever step into that. Like, again, 30, 40 years from now, I just don't see when they're having to like potentially reboot these, because it's comic books. These characters should last forever. Yeah. I have no problem with the fact that down the road they're going to recast these characters. I just I'm glad I probably won't be around to have to see it, because I don't know how you do it.
I mean, they've already done it. It's called Loki season 1. So you're talking about not having a character recast. Literally, 17 different people played Loki. For fuck's sake, a woman played
and
an alligator.
And an alligator.
For fuck's sake, how hard can this character be, and how iconic can it be if an alligator's playing it?
Hayden says because Xavier helps people and Loki is a god of mischief, which
that's
does Tad.
That's what it is. Tad sides with the god of mischief over Xavier, the pinnacle of goodness. Okay, I get it.
Oh, man.
Hayden explaining it in terms that Peter can understand. Okay.
All right, so let me go ahead and hit.
It's almost like Hayden knows you really well or something.
All right, so yeah. Sorry, this thing keeps moving on me.
This one's going to reveal one of your top ones, isn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah?
So yeah, your number 9 is my number 2.
Good Lord. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, Christopher Reeves is Superman.
Yeah, and this embodies kind of what I was saying about like the Xavier thing. Is like to this day, because I'll give you a spoiler. There's no Batman on my list, and part of the reason is because I feel like Batman's a character that anyone can really come to and try to bring something to it.
Yeah.
Multiple people have done it. There's probably been 15 or so Batman over the course of like since the 1940s, I think, or something. Like it's
just live action, or are we including voice as well?
I mean, yeah, if you count voices, you're talking probably 30 or so
Yeah.
people. But like the thing is with Batman, I feel like everyone's like it's almost like the Bond when it's like, oh, well, who's going to be the James Bond, next James Bond? Who's going to be the next Batman? That's just part of the excitement.
Yeah.
On the opposite end though, where Superman, I feel like there's always an element of like Superman fans try to be hopeful, some of them, and there is an element of, oh, I can't wait to see what somebody might bring to it. But there's always an element of like, well, this role has been so perfectly captured that no one's ever going to top Christopher Reeve. It's just,
Yeah.
he is the character in a way that like 50 years down the road now, still no one has been able to like truly capture this role away from him. It's still his role. Like
It's Superman.
he is Superman.
Yeah.
And it's just, so for me, like, that's kind of like, again, spoiler where it's like no Batman, because it's just like, yeah. And the fact they've tried so many times and like different people have done some great things in the character, in the role.
Yeah.
But there's not one time that people aren't looking and going, he's no Chris. Like,
Yeah.
Whereas with Batman, I don't think people do that as much. There's some that get super hardcore about, I love Christian Bale, or I love like whatever. But like, I don't think any of them were ever like, well, no one but Christian Bale can play the role. Like,
No,
that's not
because the conversation that always happens with Batman, and spoiler alert for everyone at home, there's no Batmans on my list either. So
and that didn't surprise me
The
because
reason-
it is that thing.
Here's
Batman
the-
is such a good character for people to just
because
and Joker's the same way.
Here's the reason why, is because you just mentioned it. Everyone always has like their favorite. Oh, Christian Bale's the definitive Batman for me. Great. How is Michael Keaton? Oh, he was fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. Michael Keaton's the definitive Batman for me. Great. How is Ben Affleck? Oh, he was okay.
Yeah.
He wasn't bad. I liked him. There's always something good about the Batmans.
Yeah.
That people can be fluid. Now, there might be some that hate a certain one. I think fucking Christian Bale's Batman voice is one of the funniest fucking things I've ever heard in my life.
And George Clooney is objectively a bad Batman.
And George Clooney is objectively a bad Batman.
With or without the nips.
With or without the nips. He put nips on Batman. But at the end of the day, is it still a good Batman? Yeah, basically. Like
Yeah.
that's the thing. Is like, I don't think there's ever been like a truly atrocious Batman. There have been truly atrocious Supermans. Like
Yeah.
for me, like, the problem is not necessarily the actor portraying it. Like Henry Cavill.
Yeah,
Everyone
it's
says,
writing.
Everyone says, oh, he's amazing. Yes, Henry's a fantastic actor
Yeah.
and did amazing with what he was given.
Yeah.
Was it actually real, like,
He wasn't.
embodiment of what Superman is? No.
No.
Because I can tell you right now, dude, you open my eyes on this one. There is not a chance in hell that Superman stands there and watches his father die.
Yeah, when he can move faster than the speed of light. And,
There is not a
no.
chance in hell that he lets a fucking tornado kill his dad.
I mean, it's Kevin Costner, so I could slightly like
forgive him for
yeah,
that.
it's like it's Kevin Costner. No one's gonna miss that guy. But yeah, no, there's just certain problems. But I will also say it's not to say that there isn't like a lot of people that like different things that different
Yeah.
people brought to Superman character with like different shows, different
Right.
movies, whatever. But ultimately, what it comes down to though is like with Superman, it's just this thing where it's like the 800-pound gorilla is Christopher Reeve,
Yeah.
and there's just you will no. And even the new guy, David Cornsweet, like I don't think there's a single Superman fan that is sitting there going that this guy might actually like take that. No, everyone's accepted.
There's a reason that the line is he's tugging on Superman's cape.
Yeah, and it's not that people are closed-minded. I don't want to give that impression. It's just a matter of, and I also think another part of it is really the Superman in 1978 is the big bang for comic book movies. Yes, there were live-action TV show, different things in the past with like Superman with George Reeves. There was old Batman stuff back in the day, but the true birth of what superhero movies are today started in 1978 with Superman, the motion picture. So I do think there's that element of like he was like kind of what everyone looks at with like what the Keaton Batman was in '89. It was such a massive thing. That's what that was in '78. So it's like, you know, and I just think that
was 12 years before.
And to this day, you can't watch certain like
11 years
origins films in Marvel, even in the MCU, that you don't look at. There's DNA elements from Superman '78 that people are still using in origin movies for superheroes.
Absolutely.
So I just think that also he embodies it in such a great way too, because he was just such a good person. Like when you see interviews and stuff, like there's a documentary out that I'd recommend to anyone, the Superman, like the Christopher Reeve documentary. He was just an incredibly wonderful dude. Like just, I don't know. Just he seemed to truly embody it. Not to say that other Superman actors are bad people, but he just, I don't know. It's just hard to ever top him.
Understandable. Hayden did make the joke. The opposite of Christopher Reeve is Christopher Walken.
Too soon.
And then Hayden asked if I'm feeling okay because I don't have a Batman on my list. Listen, this is live action. If I was allowed to use animated, then I would have a Batman on my list.
Yeah.
Let me just point that out.
Yeah.
Because Kevin Conroy is the best Batman.
And I don't think I necessarily full on said you had to do live action.
Yeah.
But I think it would have been suicidal to open up the door to animated.
Dude, because I'm sorry. The X-Men, the animated series,
dude, so
we're
much.
fucked.
Yeah,
we'd be fucked.
It'd be impossible, even for a computer.
Yes.
All right. So next up, we've got my number 9, which is actually going to reveal one of yours. It is your number 7, and it is Vincent D'Onofrio as
Fisk,
the Kingpin.
Wow, Kingpin that low on yours, boy.
Again, this whole list is like Murderer's Row.
Yeah.
So it's like whoever's on this team is the cream of even my honorable mentions like this so it's just a matter of like placing these characters. But D'Onofrio as Fisk is just, I mean, Michael Clark Duncan did him for the Daredevil movie. I think that's the only other time we really had Fisk portrayed, and I don't think he did a bad job. You know, he's got
in live action.
He's got that imposing figure that worked out really well. But D'Onofrio, I remember from day one of us seeing the reveal of him, which was, how many episodes was it before you actually fully saw?
I think you see him in the first episode.
Is it? Because there's like the whole thing where like nobody will say his name and it's very mysterious. I thought it was a couple episodes in before it was like, oh shit, it's fucking Wilson Fisk.
No, you see him like, because you see him at the art gallery picking up the rabbit in white.
Is that the first episode though?
I think it might be the second.
I think it's in a little bit in a little ways, because I remember it's like a big culminating thing of like his name was Wilson Fisk, and that's the dude that then like impales his face on that spike, and then from there the audience is then revealed like, oh my god, it's fucking Vincent D'Onofrio playing him. So so also I will say I put all these pictures together myself.
Classic.
So to compare the animated comic versions to the live actions, for me, Vince has just absolutely killed this role. He's one of the most menacing and imposing figures. Rewatching the Daredevil show has made it reverberate to me, where like every time, like there's times I felt dread for our characters because they're like kind of poking Fisk a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, like especially the second or the third season, I mean.
When Karen goes to him one-on-one to admit the
oh
murder
my god, dude.
Wesley.
Like she's fucking dead.
He's gonna go.
Yeah, pretty much. So he's just one of the most sinister people, and it is such an iconic comic book character too. And I think he's just absolutely nailed it in a way that is hard to beat, really. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like the third episode of Daredevil is actually titled Rabbit in a Snowstorm, so I think you're right. It's the third episode is where we see Fisk for the first time.
Hayden's saying he shows up in episode 1, so maybe
does he really?
I thought it took a bit for him. He certainly.
I was just looking at Intermovie Database, and it doesn't show him in the top billed cast. That's what I was going off of.
Yeah. All right, so that is my number. What do you have to say about? I've raved about Mr. Vincent D'Onofrio.
I mean,
you haven't chimed in yet.
I mean, there's a reason he's my number 7. Yeah. This comes down to one of those ones where I can't picture anyone else now, and that's after playing the Spider-Man game.
yeah,
The opening, one of the best openings to any video game ever.
yeah,
Where you take down Kingpin
Yeah.
right off the bat.
yeah,
And that guy, I remember playing Spider-Man after watching Daredevil, and I'm like, this guy's not as good as Fisk as Vincent is.
yeah.
That's what I thought. And so
Yeah.
that's the reason why Vincent's on my list as Kingpin. Also why he's so high.
Yeah.
And so high, I have him at 7. So
Yeah, and
that just tells you what's above him.
yeah, dude. This is a tough list, dude. Even just getting it down to the 10, and then
Yeah.
from there you had to like order it. It's like,
What kind of evil bastard thought of this idea?
damn you, Peter.
This is some bullshit.
Yeah, and then also Fisk. He's also showed up in like the Echo, the Hawkeye show. He showed up in a couple different shows. So we've seen him across and in different ways. I love the Hawaiian shirt in was
Yeah.
that Hawkeye?
Yeah.
I love that.
That's when he gets shot in the head.
Yeah, so good, dude. He's just absolutely killed the role. And honest to God, if the whole Daredevil Born Again had truly been a complete reboot and they left him off and just brought nothing but Charlie, I probably would have written the show off. I probably would have just not followed it. Because like I feel like as much as Karen and Foggy are like, you got to have them, dude. Him like that's just Fisk is up there. So
Yeah.
all right. So next up we got your number 8. Is that right?
See,
Which is actually my number 6.
John Bernthal is Punisher.
Yes.
Bernthal, sorry.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, go ahead and because you started with them here. So
I mean, he is Punisher.
this is what inspired the list, by the way.
Was
Watching season
Punisher.
2, and I saw him. I'm just like, I get the fact that 2 other people have played this role in
Yep.
live action, but like, and there's nothing necessarily against them, but like, none of them just felt it.
Yeah.
But like, John, it's just he is this fucking character. I mean, I know it's acting, but it's like, my God, he's done a great job with this.
He actually made me kind of respect the character, and that's the thing is like I never respected Punisher before. I never thought that Punisher was a character worth knowing, kind of thing. Like I knew who the Punisher was, I knew the story and everything like that. I'm like, oh, he's Marvel's version of Batman if Batman was crazy. That's what I always thought because I love Batman growing up, Batman the animated series and everything like that. So it's like, oh, okay, so he had the same thing that happened to Batman. His family gets killed, and so instead of handling it logically and dressing like a bat, he goes insane and just starts murdering people.
Yeah.
Well, there's no reason for me to. That's a joke, by the way. I'm totally fucking kidding, but.
Oh, I know you have all kinds of weird ideas. And Frank's right, man. You put them in the ground, they're not a danger to anyone anymore.
But especially like with my sense of like right and wrong and everything.
Yeah,
like that, I wasn't drawn to him.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, the Daredevil series. As soon as they announced Punisher, dude, I was there. In fact, the reason why I was there is because of John.
Yeah.
And I loved him from The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
And so
I always forget he was in The Walking Dead. Every once in a while, I'll get reminded,
Yep.
and I'll be like, "Oh my God, yeah!" Because I always keep thinking that Punisher was his breakout.
No, it's the first 2 seasons
So.
of Walking Dead were him, man.
Yeah.
And so to see him play this character as well as he played Shane in The Walking Dead, both are phenomenal. And I respect John so much as an actor now.
Yeah.
Seeing him in so many different things. He's in The Wolf of Wall Street, for fuck's sake.
And what he did with Punisher too, because it's not just the I'm a badass with a gun. Like he showed the emotion, the vulnerability, he showed so many layers to this character that truly need to be there. I feel like if you're just playing him off as nothing but kind of a 2-dimensional badass, like it's not an interesting character.
No, that's
Frank's
that's a cheap action movie.
Yeah, that's just
That's not what John's Punisher is, and that's one of the reasons why I was so drawn to him. Is
Yeah.
that it was more than just you kill my family, I kill you all, you know,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
yeah.
It wasn't a Taken situation where it's just like like where's my daughter, kind of thing.
Where's my family?
Where's my family? Harrison Ford and everything. But it became something more with him. And so when they announced the Punisher series, dude,
Yeah.
I was there. And then we talked about this last episode, I think, or maybe it was just off air that we talked about it, is that when the Marvel stuff started to wind down and we found out that
Yeah.
It's getting the
they're
axe.
basically axing the Netflix.
You
stuff.
stopped watching. I stopped watching.
Yeah, I think there's 3 or 4 seasons of various shows that I didn't watch.
You never watched
or three
season-
3 or 4 like a season from each type
Yeah.
thing. Like I don't think I watched the second season of. I know I didn't watch the last Jessica Jones. I didn't watch the last Punisher. I didn't watch the second Luke Cage. I started it, but then that's when the announcement came.
And you never
So
finished
I-
the first season of Iron Fist.
Oh God, no.
But that was for different reasons. But I watched the second season of Luke Cage. I watched the third season of Daredevil, of course.
Yeah.
I did not watch the second season of Iron Fist or the third season of Jessica Jones. But I did watch the second season of Punisher.
Yeah, which is one of the last shows. I think
Which is the second to last
second
one.
after Jessica Jones.
It's
yeah.
Punisher and then season 3 of Jessica Jones, and that's where they stopped.
Yeah.
So Luke Cage came out like right around the time that they were saying maybe it's going to stop and that we're done and everything is ceasing, and stopping. And I said, well, I'm still going to watch Punisher season 2 when it comes out.
Yeah.
But I don't see the reason to watch Jessica Jones season 3. There's no chance of continuation, so I don't want to watch it. But I wanted every little bit of Punisher that I could get.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's fair. Like again, and like so for me, I guess there are some of these characters on my list, or some of these on my list that have been portrayed by others. But again, for me, it's kind of like the Spider-Man argument, where it's like, yes, others may have, but I don't think that anyone truly captured it like this person. And then like, I don't know, not because it doesn't like take away from the fact like people might
Yeah,
like.
because if you give Patrick Stewart a 10, McAvoy gets what, an 8.5, a 9,
Yeah.
like that, because he's a young Xavier. So that's the difference between Tom Hiddleston. No, not Tom Hiddleston. John here playing Punisher,
Yeah.
because the other two didn't do it for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Indeed. Let's see. I've got my number.
Hayden.
I've got my number 8 next, and it is Mr. Chris Hemsworth as Thor.
That's Thor. Okay.
Again, just and also there's a heavy lifting aspect here.
Yeah, because he has to lift the hammer.
Because like he's got 4 movies.
4 Thors,
4
and
movies,
then all the Avengers.
all the Avengers movies. Like there's been a lot of heavy lifting with the Thor character, and he's probably gone through more than almost any. I mean, the big 3 all went through a lot, but his.
Are you talking character?
The characters, what they went through.
Dude,
yeah,
no one has a more tragic story than Thor in the MCU.
Especially when you look at the fact that all of the worst shit for him happens over the course of like weeks.
Yeah.
Like, Thor 2, Ragnarok, Infinity War, and Endgame. All that's all like over the course of like a month or two. Like that's not a lot of time, dude.
Well,
That's-
I mean, you have to remember in between Infinity War and Endgame, there's 5 years.
well, the tragedy for him is the end of Infinity War, or I guess no, you're right. That's
Yeah,
Either
there's
way,
5 years. There's 5 years.
I
there.
think he's only slightly upset about killing Thanos. I think it's a lot
I'm-
more of the rest of the stuff.
I strongly disagree that Thor's belly happened for a reason.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I mean,
the man sunk so low he was playing Fortnite.
That's true. That was more Korg though. He was just yelling at the kid.
The kid.
Yeah, he was just yelling at the kid, which I'm okay with. I mean, and then then even when you go past all that, then he loses Jane.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's just he's gone through a lot, and I think.
But he got a daughter.
And I will say that Hemsworth has absolutely nailed the role in a massive way. Also, huge props to Sarah because he was a complete unknown. Same as Loki.
Yeah.
The other thing, 2 of them on my list so far that we've covered, like Tom and Chris were both absolute unknowns. You could still go find pictures of a headline that's like, what is
people?
Marvel thinking? Why would they cast like unknowns like this for potentially what you would hope would be a big movie they're putting a lot to write on.
Yeah.
And it's like obviously both have become massive stars in Hollywood, but it's like both of them have nailed their roles so much, and also they play so well together too.
Oh, the chemistry between the two of them.
Yeah.
Is
it's
unreal.
Yeah, it really is. So, Chris Hemsworth is indeed my number. I'm losing track of where
Your number 8.
My number 8. Okay.
So we need your number 7 now.
All right. So my number 7.
I like how all 4 of mine that have been revealed are in a row. 10, 9, 8, 7. You're bouncing all over the place.
I know.
Weirdo.
Well, it's your fault.
It's your fault.
So my number 7 is Elizabeth Olsen
Wanda.
as Scarlet Witch. Now I will admit there's a slight bias here.
I wonder why.
The daughter of Magneto will always be the apple of my eye. So,
But the son is a piece of shit, apparently.
well, yeah, he's a speedster. I mean, the best thing the MCU did was kill him off right away, so we don't have to worry about. He's better as a boner joke than he is as a
Jeez.
Oh man, I love the spirit of it. But yeah, no. Again, heavy lifting. Not only I mean, she came in later in the MCU movie series. I mean, I guess relatively. I mean, the second Avengers movie.
Phase 2 is later.
But it's like the whole WandaVision show is her. I mean, there's other characters there, but it's her. Then the Doctor Strange. Like there's a lot of heavy lifting on her end. And again, I absolutely could not picture anyone else in this role. And it's a character I've loved for a long time in the comics because again, I'm a Magneto fan. So having a Magneto, kids and one of them's a speedster, so I just write him off and just fixate on the sorcerer that's strong enough to wipe out the entirety of mutants or most of them. So that's pretty fun. So she's just done an incredible job. And also I think that the tragedy they've given her with like WandaVision and Doctor Strange really showed the acting ability. I mean, not to say there's not good acting across all these lists. But yeah, she's just absolutely killed this role.
Yeah.
I could not imagine another Wanda.
Yeah, the thing with Elizabeth Olsen, the reason why she didn't make my list is simply because I don't know Scarlet Witch. This is one of those ones where I was talking about early.
Yeah.
I don't know the source material here. I know stories. You've told me things that she's done and everything, but have I experienced Scarlet Witch on my own in a comic, in a cartoon, or in another movie or anything? No, my only knowing of Scarlet Witch is Elizabeth Olsen. So
yeah.
That's what that comes down to.
Yeah. She's great. And honestly,
she's fantastic.
I don't think I really knew Elizabeth before this either. I mean, I've seen her in a couple things since that were incredible, like Wind River or no?
Wind River, yeah.
Yeah.
Me and my wife watched that just a couple months ago.
It's such a great movie.
So good.
Yeah, and again, I do love Scarlet Witch, and Elizabeth has done an incredible job, and I can't wait to see her come back, even if it's the bride of Doctor Doom. I'm there for it. So, next up,
my number 6.
Oops, let's see, that jumped this screen over.
Is going to reveal your number 1?
It doesn't reveal anything on mine.
What? Not even an honorable mention?
Here's the reason. Because Fassbender was so fucking good that there is not a single. I could think of both of them. Because Xavier, the reason he made my list is because if you say Xavier, I only think of Patrick Stewart, so he made my list. But Magneto, dude, Fassbender absolutely fucking killed. Whereas I think McAvoy is good. He's good, but there. Fassbender, that's those are neck and neck, man.
Man, Dad,
if Fassbender's too good, so I guess that's the and it's funny, as I was making my list, I knew you were going to grill me on this, but what it comes down to ultimately is McAvoy did a good job, but it's kind of there, it's Patrick Stewart's role. You're just playing it because you're a younger guy. Fassbender has embodied the role in a way because he was given so much. I feel like Fassbender almost covered more of the actual character than Ian McKellen did in terms of the trauma, the Holocaust, hunting the Nazis, the early stuff. I feel like whereas he's an established, I love him in the original trilogy, but I feel like Fassbender is able to really get into some of the meat of the character more so than Ian did, and because of that, legit, if you say Magneto to me, and it's weird too because it's the comics too. I picture all three in my head at the same time. There's just no definitive thing for me. So,
wow.
Fassbender's getting cast as the young Gandalf too.
Wow.
I didn't know. I figured you'd give me some guff. I didn't know I'd shock you this much though. But it really does. It comes down to Fassbender. He's so good. I can't.
The funny thing is, I can't remember a single scene with Fassbender aside from the real one with Mystique.
Wait, really?
There's nothing memorable about his performances as Magneto.
No.
Ian McKellen, though, lives rent-free in my head. Too much iron in your blood.
Oh, they both, yeah.
I can't picture Magneto without thinking of Ian McKellen.
Really? I think...
I can't think about Fassbender. Even watching those movies, I was like, yeah, it's okay.
Oh, man.
But McAvoy and McKellen... McAvoy and Fassbender, for me, were nothing to.
But it's also my all-time favorite character, so maybe I'm digging more into it. What does it say?
Says mine is cutting out.
Show's excellent.
Uh-oh.
It looks like it's moving.
Hello?
Maybe you just
Testing?
maybe refresh. On my side, it looks like everything's going okay.
Oh, God damn it, Hayden.
I was like,
I took him seriously. I thought there was something wrong. Oh, he doesn't like what. Oh, I got it. I see.
no. So yeah, for me, it really just comes down to like I legit cannot. It's both. Like
Yeah.
it depends on like what scene immediately comes by. Like it's like there's like they're neck and neck. Like Fassbender like stole
Yeah.
my heart. So
I'm going back to like how long has he played the character? How long have I thought of him as the character?
yeah,
I mean, I grew up on the X-Men cartoon.
yeah.
I think of Ian McKellen over that guy.
Really?
Oh, like the voice actor and everything.
Again, I think it's kind of the
So-
Batman element for me. Like it is my favorite all-time character.
Yeah.
So like I do appreciate because I also sometimes think of the animated when I think of him too because it's just that's what I grew up on. That's what made me fall in love with the character. But like for instance, Fassbender, the bar scene when he finds the Nazis in South America. Kills him. That's one of my favorite because I'm like I would just give me a 2-hour movie of him hunting Nazis. I would have bought into that movie. One of my other favorites is it Days of Futures Past when they're on the airplane and Xavier starts to tell him like, oh, you've never lost anything, and then he starts to, like fucking like shake and crush the jet as he stands up and starts naming off all the people that have died. He's like, you abandoned them, and like it's just one of my favorite scenes in all of X-Men. So yeah, for me it's not at all a qualm on Ian McKellen because I love him too. Like.
There's a reason that Magneto didn't make your list.
I always tell people feel like when I'm one of the most blessed motherfuckers because he's my all-time favorite comic book character, and I've had him played now by 2 absolutely fucking incredible actors that have absolutely killed it. Whereas like again, McAvoy, it's like, oh, you did okay for what you were doing, but it's like it's Patrick Stewart. That's why he's on my honorable mentions because it's like he is that fucking character. Like it's like the old story. Like why? No, I don't want to do that. Well, here's the comic. Why am I on that comic? You're not.
Why couldn't both of them have made your list?
Because it legit.
Magneto 2 times.
That would
You just didn't want to have to choose between the two of them. That's all.
Sophie's
it was.
choice.
Yeah, you're not. That's all it is you're just not doing Sophie's choice. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to make you choose. I'm changing next week's episode. We're going to talk about who played Magneto better, Ian McKellen or Michael Fassbender. That's going to be our whole discussion, and I'm going to want a solid answer from you by the end of the episode.
Never.
You make me do shit all the time I don't want to do, but here we are.
You need to talk about Ian. You've been more shocked.
I've already
stunned.
said it, man. Ian McKellen is Magneto. Like,
Yeah.
that escape in X2,
Oh.
that scene alone.
That's one of my all-time favorite scenes too.
I know
That's-
the fact that scene alone doesn't do it for you just kind of shocks me. Like, I'm not going to say that your opinion is wrong.
even in bad
And
movies,
everything.
in X-Men 3.
Even in X-Men 3 was the best part.
It's like, oh, where's your ink? He's like, oh, he's like, and he shows the Holocaust.
Yeah,
tattoo.
he
He's
shows
like,
the
never
yeah.
again will a needle touch my skin.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
like shitty movie, but there's like some cool.
There
shit
is
in
some
it.
great.
And when he
and
lifts
then,
the Golden
dude, he
Gate
just
Bridge,
fucking rips up the Golden Gate Bridge. Yeah, exactly.
which is probably an improvement on that
Dude,
city,
that
right?
that line, that line lives
Or-
rent free in my head. What is it? Too much iron in your blood.
Yeah.
I love that line.
Actually, my favorite is the Mr. Lorio, never trust a good-looking woman, especially one interested in you.
Especially when I'm interested in you.
Or
yeah,
is it RFK Stadium that he lifts up in Days of Futures Past,
I think so.
where he lifts the RFK to like put it around the White House so it guards
Yeah.
from anyone
Outside, yeah.
I love me. I've come to realize I love like power when it comes to character, like Scarlet Witch. I mean, I've always loved the Hulk. Like I
Yeah.
love like just like overwhelming power, and like Magneto, there's almost no one to his level. Like
Yeah.
he could easily destroy the planet without even trying. Like just completely destroy the magnetism.
They
of
showed
our
that in
globe.
X-Men 97.
Yeah, like it's just.
He's just like, oh, yep, back
But
to the Stone Age with you.
I knew you might give me probably the most guff on this one, but it really just came down. Now if this were like a top 20 and I had more room to like throw two, I would have put both of them in probably.
Hey, you're the one that set the 10, sir.
As I was doing the prep on this, like even the final prep a few days ago, I was like, God, this should be better almost as a top 20. But I'm like, it's too late now. Anyway, and I don't know, but
Hayden says he can't wait for Sophie's Choice too. Tad decides on his favorite Magneto.
and the sad thing is we might be getting another one.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what scares me because I'm like, dude, they are like 2 for 2 in Fox.
If they
so
nail
it's
it.
like if they better fucking nail it, dude. Like they need like
I hope they cast like the perfect motherfucker, like the perfect Magneto, and he gets fucking iced in the first 6 seconds of his on being on film, and that's it. He's just done.
If it happens, sir, I will have a knife in the theater.
Rip Chewie, rip Magneto, sir. It's all fair. It's all fair in love and war, right?
As I say, the Lannisters send their regards.
Yeah. We're just sitting there in theaters. Lydia looks over at me, and my head's just turned around backwards, 180.
It's like the opening scene in Scream 2.
Yeah, I'm just dead.
When they kill Will Smith's wife and they stab her in the theater.
Yeah, everyone takes a turn stabbing.
All right. Well,
If he gets killed, just put him in rice.
okay. So we did your number 6,
So
right?
number 5's for both of us.
Okay. So, yes, you're number 5, and it is my number 4.
Okay.
So go ahead.
Charlie Cox, Daredevil.
I keep forgetting
mean-
to click off of our thing here, and it messes up my other screen. All right, go ahead. Sorry. Yes.
Daredevil, Charlie Cox.
Yeah.
I mean,
And I know we're both fresh off rewatches, so there's
But
maybe
also-
some bias, but no, dude, he's
no, but the simple fact comes
he's
down to this.
perfection.
Look, I'm going to list 3 reasons why Charlie Cox is one of the best comic book castings of all time. Top 5 for me. 1, there's not another Daredevil. Period. There's not.
Ben Affleck catches the
There's
flack
not.
here.
There's not another Daredevil. Period. Okay. 2, this show, 39 episodes.
Oh, masterful.
Amazing.
Masterful.
All top to bottom. Little bit of a down in season 2, maybe, if you don't like the ninjas and everything.
On the rewatch, I used to agree with you, but on the rewatch, I'm like, no, it's stellar.
I mean,
Wall to wall.
remember, we had this conversation a couple weeks ago where I'm like, dude, season 2 is amazing, and you're like, season 3's better.
Oh, I still agree with that.
So,
but
but
if you would have talked to me before any of our rewatches and said something about season 2, I'd say, season 2 is a huge like dip.
yeah,
That's what I was at until the rewatch. So when I'm like, dude, no, Tad, you were an idiot when you watched this originally. And again, it was my expectations.
Yeah.
I was hoping for a different thing, and when it turned out to be not that, I was just disappointed a little
it's
bit.
always hard not to be able to be able to appreciate something when you were hoping for something
Yeah.
else.
And
which is one of the reasons why I kind of I stopped watching trailers for a bit, but obviously with this show I can't do that. But at the end of the day, I don't like diving too far into like fan theories and everything like that. I have fun little ones here and there.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to dive into like, well, Foggy got killed, and there's one comic strand where Foggy goes into witness protection and fakes his own death, and it's like, yeah, I'm not going to. Because then if that doesn't happen, I'm going to be disappointed if I really wanted that to happen.
And
kind of
think
thing.
where my biggest evolution came is I love fan theories or even just speculation. No, even if you don't call it fan theories, but even speculation. But what I've come to I think the maturity is after being burned a couple times and realizing it was ruining my enjoyment of things.
Yeah.
I get to the point now where it's like open-handed. Like I've got a theory, but it's open-handed. If it ends up not being a thing, I don't care.
It's
Like,
not a big deal.
No,
right.
it's not. It's not going to hurt my enjoyment of a film or a show anymore. In the old days, I didn't have that. I was very close-handed where I was
Yes.
just like, I can't fucking wait for this. And then when it didn't happen, it just kind of takes the wind out of my. I don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
I just do it for the pure.
That's what I was trying to say. You said it better than I was saying it.
It's
Thank
for
you.
the pure fun of the sport.
Yes.
in my mind.
But the last reason why Charlie Cox belongs, dude, this motherfucker, I still think that he's really blind.
We've heard the story about him losing.
Yes,
Theoretically,
he auditioned. Supposedly, theoretically, we've heard the story
got a late audition, a
Audition.
high level audition for Han Solo
because they were going through all the issues with that film, right?
No, it was before all that.
Before all that, okay.
It was basically like they
But-
were down to like the top 5 candidates, and he was one of them.
And the reason he didn't get it is because he kept staring awkwardly like a blind person.
Yeah, never
because
making
he came off of Daredevil.
never making eye contact and stuff. Like he was so used to doing the blind Daredevil shtick that he was basically doing that in his real life. And
And then
he-
it's like, what the fuck's wrong with this?
no,
guy?
it's just his theory. We don't even know if that's really the reason.
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah,
It's never been confirmed by
by
Disney.
by a casting person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fact that he's not blind is kind of it's in the same vein as no one's ever going to convince me that Colin Farrell played the Penguin. The videos are all fake. I mean, we can fake the moon landing, we can fake this, that kind of shit. No, I really do believe that we landed on the moon. I'm not crazy.
How about the video with him in the full costume, but he's talking in the Colin Farrell voice? When he's like thanking the cast and crew. He's like, "Oh, I thank y'all." He's like, "I hate this suit, but I'm so glad to have done it all."
That's just a voiceover.
It's just a it's a deep
I mean,
fake.
That's a deep fake. Absolutely. I mean, come on. Artificial intelligence can create anything nowadays. So
Yeah, and I also want to just say that, like, overall, like, I almost called him Matt. Charlie has captured Matt in just a way, and again, he plays such. It's kind of like John. He's played such a multi-layered character.
Yeah.
You know, like there's just so much he had to do for this throughout the course of the show, and I think he's just done it masterfully.
I mean, it comes down to simply the fact that Daredevil inspired the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which is my childhood.
Yeah.
So Daredevil holds a special place in my heart now.
Yeah.
Learning that.
Yeah.
I've learned more about Daredevil than I knew when I first started watching the show.
Yeah.
And especially after coming off of a rewatch, there's no way I couldn't put Charlie Cox top 5.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a solid pick for sure. Like I said, it's my number 4. So you're, we're definitely filling in some of my higher ones here. But yeah, Charlie's incredible. And I was over the moon even before they, filled in the rest of the gaps of this show that we're currently watching. I was over the moon when they were like, "Oh, hey, we're going to bring back Daredevil and Charlie Cox is coming along to play." And also, we just covered our favorite post-Endgame things not too long ago, and Charlie showing up was on both of our lists. Like, he's just
there's a reason for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, I'm a very good lawyer. Like, so
how did you do that?
I'm a very good lawyer.
Oh man! All right,
the deleted scene with him and Happy.
Yeah,
so funny.
You know what's funny is I was looking at the Daredevil movie, just for the fuck of it. Do you know Jon Favreau was fucking Foggy?
Was he really?
Yeah, I was like, what the?
That's a weird connection.
Yeah. Oh, and also, Terrence Stamp played Stick, so that's like a god level fucking classic Hollywood actor. So him and Scott Glenn, that is 2 incredible actors playing one character, man.
Gonna have to start having a debate about which character has had the best actors playing them.
Ooh, yeah, that's
minimum 3 actors.
Oh, you know what? No, I'd win immediately. Marlon Brando, if you're talking all movies. Robert De Niro and Marlon Brando.
What about if it's minimum 3?
Minimum 3 movies.
Minimum 3 actors.
Or 3 actors. Yeah, I don't know. That's tough. That's tough because a lot of characters haven't been played by 3 actors.
Let's keep it 2. Marlon Brando and Robert De Niro for Corleone.
That'd be tough. That's tough because that's
Michael Corleone stuck in my head. What's the dad's name?
Vito.
Vito. Thank you.
Yeah. So, moving on to my number 5. Right? Is that okay? My number 5 is Chris Evans as Captain America. Again. I mean, and like, I'm not. This is not saying at all that I have any issue with Falcon taking over the role, or if it had been the Winter Soldier. I don't care about like that. But just a matter of Steve Rogers, Captain America.
Yeah. That's the thing. Is you're not saying Captain America. You're saying Steve Rogers, Captain America.
Yes, because I don't want people to misinterpret this as whatever. But
yeah,
because again, he's just like I said with Chris Hemsworth earlier. He's done a lot of heavy lifting. He was the lead in the first Avengers movie. I still absolutely adore the first Avenger. The first
movie.
Captain America movie. And I just think he's done a great job in the role across all of his films, the Avengers films. And I can't wait to see him back for these last couple movies. So he's just done an incredible job. And also I remember being slightly hesitant. It's like, wait, the dipshit that played Johnny Storm is going to play Captain America? Like, I don't know about that.
This is one of those actors that makes everyone this is one of the examples I give people just to calm the fuck down when they cast someone.
Yeah.
Because right now everyone in the Harry Potter universe is losing their goddamn mind over a casting.
Yeah,
that just happened for the series.
Yeah,
and
Robert Pattinson. I mean, there's all. It happens all the time.
Heath Ledger. I'm done. I'm done with it. You know what? I don't care what the book says. I don't care what everyone thinks that this character should be and what in your mind it is. I don't care.
Yeah,
I'm gonna wait and see the product. What the results are before I judge anything. And right here, this is one of my shining examples. And that everyone's like, he can't play Captain America.
Yeah, and I would have said the same thing because honestly, he did so good as Johnny Storm. And I mean, he played some of those like teen movie type when he was a little bit younger. So he's
Yeah.
always playing like a dumb jockey type, like Johnny Stormish. So it was just a matter of like that felt like he always just kind of fit in that same bubble. And it's
Yeah.
like, so suddenly to say Captain America, it's like, what?
Wait, what?
No, that doesn't seem right.
My wife says she's kind of shocked he's not on my list.
Yeah.
This comes down to one of those ones where I still don't know much about Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
Like comic book
That is
and
America's
everything
ass.
like that. That is America's ass. And
He's a great actor,
and-
too.
And that plays part of it, but like that's like 30% of it. But the large part of it, he showed me what a beard looks like, and only gave it to me for one movie, and that's unforgivable. I can't do it.
Yeah.
If he had been bearded for all of his movies, he'd be number 1 and number 2 and number 3. But I'm sorry, I can't put him on the list for only one bearded movie.
Yeah, and Hayden says broke typecasting and nailed this role. I agree, and to the point where I don't even think of him as Johnny Storm anymore. I don't know the last time I've actually really thought about that. I think it was with the new Fantastic Four trailer coming out and stuff. I think I finally was like thinking back, I'm like, oh my god, yeah, Chris Evans played.
I mean,
Johnny Storm.
I thought about him because I just rewatched Deadpool and Wolverine, so.
Or I guess that probably helped too. Yeah, that's true.
I literally just watched that with my wife the other day, so it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, earlier, did you see Hayden's list about your list for
He's
Charlie
not
Cox?
actually blind. That's X for doubt on that one. Does most of his own stunts and is a great actor. Does he really do his own stunts?
I don't know.
Holy shit! If he does, that's amazing. And he's one of those fuckers too. He's English. How the fuck?
Yeah.
How the fuck is that guy?
I saw an interview.
I swear to God,
saw an interview with him, and I'm like, that. I don't like that. I don't.
Him,
like that.
Andrew Lincoln from The Walking Dead. Those two.
Hugh
are
Laurie.
Just, Hugh Laurie's. He's
blew
bad
my
too.
mind.
Yeah, with when House was really big and everything. I'm
Yeah.
just like, come on.
Yeah, I remember the
Like,
first time I
can't.
saw a late night clip online, and it shook me. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like, not only is he English, but he's like heavy English.
Like very English.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Like you could see through him. He's so English. So, So.
Oh yeah, Tom Holland's English.
Yeah, Tom Holland. Yeah, that's upsetting.
my mind.
Idris Elba.
Yep.
Especially because early on he did so good with like The Wire, where he plays like a Baltimore gangster, and he does such a good
Dude.
job that it's like, wait, he's English?
Yeah.
Like what?
Hayden says that Charlie Cox does a ton of his hand-to-hand combat choreography and close-up work. Yeah, dude, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
That's awesome.
All right, so now we are going to
My number 4.
Your number 4. Let me make sure I don't screw up. And
Your number 1?
it is my number 1.
It is your number 1.
How'd you guess that?
The look in your eye.
Yeah, it's
I
my
saw
number
it.
1.
It's Iron Man, dude.
Robert Downey-
He is Iron Man.
RDJ is Iron Man. Again, another one that I was very suspicious of.
Yep.
Because he was
Dude,
he
he
was
was-
like a C-level actor playing like background characters in like shitty
Yeah.
movies, because he fucked his career over pretty hard.
He was in a bad spot. Yeah, absolutely.
So it is absolutely my number 1. But go ahead and you talk, and I'll hit it a little bit
I mean,
harder
he's
after
your
you,
number
'cause-
1. You got to talk more.
I mean, for me, like I've been saying it the whole time. The entire weight of the MCU rises or falls on him.
Yeah.
If he doesn't nail this role, there is no MCU. It would have petered out within a
seems-
couple movies. Like
I'm seeing a trend here with you is that a lot of the castings here and a lot of the actors, a lot of it comes down to how much weight they carry with the respected comic book films and everything.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily
that is
like,
that's a part of it for
Yeah.
sure, and there's just none bigger than him. Like you
oh
can't.
no, there's no way.
It's like well,
Yeah.
it's easy. It's harder. It's easy to see it in retrospect because we now see what the MCU has become and what it is, and this this mammoth thing it is. There's no way to know in 2008 that was on the line. So like, it's not necessarily that he knew he had that pressure on him, but retroactively we can understand like you had that pressure on you. You're like this what I say, $12 billion franchise, that's defined film for people.
It's changed the way that films are made.
Yeah.
And what people expect from sagas, multiverses, connected universes, and everything like that.
Yeah.
All came to fruition because of this.
Yeah. And the reason that I kind of like hesitated earlier with Chris Hemsworth to say he went through the most, because I think all three of the big three all had their character arcs in massive ways. Because I think Hayden's kind of pointing it out. His personality very much lends to egotism, charm, intellect, and ironic altruism. Think about what Tony looks like in the first movie versus like, you know, and like even the first Avengers where it's like he'll never be the guy to make the sacrifice play.
You'll never be the guy to lay down on the barbed wire.
Yeah, and he's
I'd
not
rather be the one to cut it.
and he's not wrong because he's like, oh, I just cut the wire. So like versus to get to the point of, you know, the image I used for him here, it's like to the ultimate sacrifice, you know.
Yeah.
And the thing is the way they built it too is it's like he has a little daughter at home. Like he's not sacrificing nothing. He's sacrificing. It's not that he's sacrificing. He's basically sacrificing himself. That now means that his wife and daughter won't have him anymore. But it's like he has that on the line. If it would have just been him and maybe he and Pepper had broken up, that doesn't mean hardly means anything. It's like, okay, you're just this single billionaire, whatever. Like, cool. Like, good on you. You should have done that probably. But
yeah, the thing with Iron Man, also with Endgame, is that how often do you see superheroes end with a happy ending? Like he got the girl, he got the kid, he got the quiet life. You know.
yeah.
You don't see that with
No,
superheroes.
and that's true because they gave him kind of a thing where after the snap he was able to kind of go and like carve out a little bit of happiness.
Yeah.
So you also have to pull him out of that, which
Yeah.
is like it's just
You don't
everything
get that.
No, everything they've done for him has been masterful.
Yeah.
And when you look at the overall arc, and there's probably nobody that's bigger in terms of screen time because he's shown up in so many other movies.
Yeah.
That I just don't think that there's anyone else that even comes close.
I can't wait for us to redo this list in 5 years and have him on here twice as Iron Man and Doctor Doom.
But yeah, he looks the role, he looks the part, and he's just done such a great job. And I feel like no matter which aspect of the role he was playing, whether it be early, super egotistical, I don't give a fuck about anyone or whatever, Tony, or the final Tony, like he's nailed it at every level.
Yeah.
And obviously he's propelled himself into superstardom, being a C-level background character in like a Gothica movie or whatever. Like
Yeah.
that's not a thing anymore. He's now one of the highest paid actors on the planet, and just won an Oscar, so that can only add to his cachet, which brilliantly, by the way, his role in Oppenheimer.
Oh yeah,
Masterful.
phenomenal.
But yeah, for him as Tony, as much as I'm not the biggest Iron Man fan, it's hard to give anything. But
and that's
praise
what
on him.
outweighs my not knowledge of Iron Man, not having any knowledge of Iron Man, is the fact that this has been a character for me for what are we at, 14, 15 years now?
Since 2008.
So close to 20, 17 years? 17 years
Yeah.
for Iron Man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah.
To have one person play that one character
Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah.
And it's one of those instances where, like, I've played a couple Lego Marvel games with my daughter when she was younger, and when I hear Iron Man and it's not RDJ, I'm like, fuck out of here.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's a tough one to grapple with, whether it be an animated show, video game, whatever it is. Even like there was the one Marvel game they put out at one point, and none of the characters, they weren't even modeled to even look anything
Avengers,
like that.
yeah.
And it was just like, ugh. Like that's just wrong, man.
Meek says he will knock it out of the park with one hand behind his back as Doom.
Yeah.
And Hayden says it's quite poetic that he has the quiet life at the cabin by the lake, and then after he sacrifices himself, that's where he finally rests.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, and again, the fact that they I don't know, he just nailed it. And again, and I'm not even the biggest Iron Man fan, so it's like to win me over. And it was just like, as I was like thinking about where everyone went, when I look at like the weight of it, the fact that literally I don't think anyone is ever going to be able to embody that role again. It's always going to be like the Christopher Reeve thing. Like, and I think that's the same way with the all of the big three, Thor and
Evans,
Captain America, Thor, Iron Man. I think all three are in that Christopher Reeve realm where it's like I just shudder to think what an actor 30, 40 years from now is going to be trying to step into a role like that. Now they're going to have to try. It's kind of like the Joker, right? It's like, well, how do you fill in after what Jack Nicholson did? I don't fucking know, but
Heath Ledger did it.
Got to try, right? But it's like I don't envy them at all because all three, and then again, there's also I'm a huge Marvel fan growing up, so the big three. Like I still remember geeking the fuck out the first trailer of the Avengers when they showed the three in the forest. Because it was just like, oh my fucking god, like the big three are on screen together like this. So and again, the weight of it, Robert has carried some massive weight. So
yeah, absolutely.
So that was your number 4.
So my number 3.
All
you have left is your number 3, so it's my number 3.
Okay. I have a list thing I was using, and I guess I got it wrong there. All right. So yeah, your number 3 is
Deadpool. I mean,
Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool. I mean, the Merc with the mouth. I didn't know much about Deadpool until that test footage was leaked
Yeah.
by someone. I don't know who would ever leak that. But the very first Deadpool movie, I remember going and seeing it with my wife. I remember there being kids in the theater and me being like, this is a rated R movie. What the hell are we doing here? Like, what is this?
Yeah.
And everything. And after seeing that movie, dude, Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I don't think there's anyone else that could ever play this role as well as Ryan. People are going to try, like you said. We're going to get new Deadpools. They even had other Deadpools in Deadpool and Wolverine. A lot of them.
Yeah.
And I'll just say, like this character's funny as fuck. And the comedic aspect of it lines up so perfectly with Ryan Reynolds that it's unreal. And Hayden even said it in the chat earlier. He's talking about Iron Man. He said his personality very much leads to egotism, charm, intelligence, ironic altruism. Just like Ryan Reynolds' personality very much is Wade. That's exactly it. Like
Yeah.
And the fact that he got to play him twice.
Yeah.
Like he got a do-over because Fox fucked it so bad. That just ups the ante that they got it right the second
sewed his
time.
mouth shut.
They sewed his mouth shut. The Merc with a mouth and gave him laser eyes and shit. Like, so dumb. But the fact that we have the Deadpool, and then also we just gotta acknowledge he's the first Fox character to transition into the MCU, right?
Oh God, what was the timeline on that? Because you've got Beast showing up in
The Marvels.
You've got God, maybe.
I mean, the first not end credit scene character showing up in Marvel. Because like Beast is in an end credit scene of that, and also not even in the same universe. He's in an alternate universe. So
yeah. Probably. I mean, it might be. Yeah, it's
the fact that Deadpool.
There's been
the
so
fact
much
that Deadpool sat down with Happy Hogan and had an interview about joining the Avengers is just like unreal.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's good. And then obviously super successful, super popular.
Yeah.
Did a lot to help Fox out and stuff.
Yep.
Financially and stuff. Also completely rechanged the Hollywood game plan. Films now will come out in February that aren't just dog shit.
Yeah.
In the old days, January and February were your dumping ground, where it's like anything that's probably not great, just dump it in those 2 months and like just never count on good like box office return. And like the first Deadpool movie kind of completely to this day, there's still like Valentine's Day or right around there is usually a really big release day, and not just for like dumb chick flicks.
I mean, we just had Captain America,
So
but Logan came out the year or two after Deadpool did it, and another rated R comic book movie. So.
Yeah, probably going rated R is a big thing for the more modern day. The Blade movies still exist. So
the Blade movie still exists, but lesser known. Comic book hero, kind of anti-hero, whatever.
Yeah.
Hayden says he bets he knows what my number one is. Okay, Hayden, let me see what go ahead. Tell me what you think. Tad, what's your number 3?
All right, so let's see what's going on here. There we go. My number 3 might be your number 1.
Uh-oh.
So I don't know if Hayden's going to get his guess in. Peter may he was Chewbacca. I did mention to Peter the other day at work, if the original Return of the Jedi premise would have gone where it was Wookiees instead of Ewoks, that would have made Wookiees man-eating beasts. Because they wouldn't have changed that element of like, oh, they were going to eat the main cast, and then at the end they're playing bongo drums.
You know what I said to you? Do you remember what I said to you?
No.
What? All of a sudden eating man is like bad? I mean,
and how can
what makes us above cows?
How can you like a beast? That's what I don't get. You're such an
He's not a beast.
Oh, he's a beast.
No.
So my number 3 and your number 1 is Hugh Jackman.
Hey, Wolverine.
So
I mean,
it is your number 1. So I'll let you go ahead and.
I mean,
take
Jesus
point.
Christ, this is the X-Men, and they nailed the casting on the first try. There's a reason that he's doing it until he's 90.
And I
like, holy fuck, this guy's been doing it for 3 decades.
Yeah, since I think 98 is when he was cast.
Yeah.
The movie came out in 1990 he was cast because the movie came out in 2000. So, I always think it came out in 99.
Like he's going to be doing it for another few years at least. He's got at least one other movie under his belt.
Well, we covered it in the rumors a couple episodes ago. He's basically said that he's okay with doing it for another 20 years or so.
So I mean,
also Charlie said that not too long ago. It's like, oh, they're about to come out with a Daredevil comic where he's like in his 50s or 60s. He's like, oh, that's good. That gives me a lot of runway for
good.
I'm like, good. Sign his ass up, man. Yeah, like there's a.
Just hook it to my
Thank you.
There's a reason I have that one on the pedal.
That's exactly what it is. But I mean, like, he nailed this from the very first scene with him.
Yeah.
And everything. As bad as
Get out of my bar, freak.
Get out of my bar, freak. And the claws looked good. His demeanor was great.
Yeah.
I love his little gravelly voice, but he didn't go too far.
Yeah, he didn't go the Dark Knight.
Yeah, he didn't go full Dark Knight. He didn't go full comic cartoon, X-Men cartoon from the 90s.
Yeah. But every time he says bub,
listen, bub.
Yeah.
You're like,
I'm not going to say what happens to me. But,
Ted gets a little excited. His noodle gets a little hard.
Because it's the classic thing, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know.
Oh yeah, it's just like when Ryan Reynolds and Deadpool ever break the fourth wall.
Yeah.
I can break the fourth wall too. The proposal, dude, fucking cracks me up every single time.
So the other thing I want to say about him is he's now ran the Pantheon too. When you go all the way up through Deadpool and Wolverine, from like what did you expect, yellow spandex, to wearing the yellow suit and the mask,
and the mask.
Like, I think it's perfect because it's allowed. And honestly, I'd probably put him easily up against Robert Downey Jr. for screen time, right?
I mean, how many movies has he been in?
I think probably easily more than Robert Downey.
3 X-Men, 2 Wolverine movies.
Yeah. The First Class, where he tells him to fuck off.
First Class, Days of Future Past.
All the later movies he was in, wasn't he? Days of Future Past, and then Apocalypse.
Was he in Apocalypse? I don't think he was in Apocalypse.
And then Dark Phoenix again.
Dark Phoenix. I don't know if I never saw Dark Phoenix. I heard how terrible it was, and I never saw it.
There was like 1 or 2.
Then
good
he's
scenes
also in Logan, and now
Logan.
Deadpool and Wolverine. So that's 10 off the top of my head.
Yeah, that's a lot. So certainly for time period. But yeah, I think he's absolutely captured this character. I get there's people, oh, he's too tall, but like no, it's just moronic. Like, he is absolutely perfect in this role. And over the last couple of years, to our whole group out with the movies and stuff, I've talked about how Marvel's probably going to have to recast, and this is going to be probably the hardest one to recast. It now seems like that might not be the case. They might just keep using Hugh for a while, which is great. Because he's absolutely nailed this role. And he's done an incredible job.
Holy shit, we nailed it. 10 movies.
Yeah.
10 movies Hugh Jackman has been in as Wolverine.
So Iron Man's got 3 Iron Man movies, 4 Avengers movies.
That's 7.
7.
Spider-Man.
The Incredible Hulk.
I mean, you're saying the Incredible Hulk. He's in an end credit scene, for God's sake.
It's not no, there's no post-credit scene. That's the last scene of the movie.
Oh, okay.
So
Civil War.
So you're now matched him at 10. So
and I think he's in 1 or 2 more.
Yeah, I think he is in a couple others. So, it's close for sure. But good call hit on Civil War. Yeah, so he's definitely. Is it just the one Spider-Man movie, right? Yeah. So, all right.
He's not in the second one is only Happy.
Happy,
right?
yeah, Happy the other 2. So yeah. Well, he's dead in the third one, so he's certainly not there.
Damn.
Oh man, so I just think that Hugh is definitely up there for me. Doesn't surprise me he's your number 1. I definitely thought about it. It's RDJ, Reeve, and Jackman for my top 3. All 3 of them at different points I had of my number 1. Like I just rotated.
You were like
I just kept rotating.
You were trying it out. Like, how's this feel?
Yeah.
How's this feel?
Yeah, but it
feel?
ultimately came down to Robert just because it's like I feel like he nailed the role so perfectly, and also just the weight of the MCU lived or died on him, and then like Reeve just being Reeve, and then Hugh Jackman at 3.
I will say that Hugh Jackman started out at like 6th or 7th on my list when I first started ranking, and I had my number 2 at number 1. But when it came down to it, what actually slipped him into number 1 was simply the fact that he is still playing this character. He is still going to be Wolverine going forward.
Yeah.
He is also the most recent to play his character aside from Deadpool.
Oh, I know where you're getting at, Hayden.
So
Jesus Christ, Dad.
yeah, about him Iron Man being dead in Spider-Man 3.
Unless you count the portrait
mural.
on the wall, the mural.
Yeah, that counts as being alive, Ted.
Oh,
I guess you don't have to be alive to be in a movie.
I love the spirit. Yeah, there like JFK. I was looking through different things. JFK was credited for Days of Futures Past because of the archival footage.
Oh my god!
I was like, that's something. All right, so then we got your number 2.
Yeah, my
and
number 2.
That wraps up
the last one.
That wraps up our list.
Which, of course, is the one that deserves to be on this list. Is fucking Patrick Stewart as Professor X. The one that inspired this goddamn list. The one that's always... Sorry, not inspired.
Yeah.
The one that is always mentioned whenever we mentioned perfect comic book
Yeah.
castings. The best comic book castings. Patrick Stewart is Charles Xavier.
He was on.
Period.
He was on my list, but Tom Hiddleston
No.
knocked him off.
No. You had your turn to talk about him. It's my turn to talk about him. And we're out of time, folks.
I'm just defending myself from your
yourself.
abuses.
Your abuses. Psh. My number 2 is in Tom Hiddleston. It would have been revealed when Tad did his.
But go ahead. You've grilled me a little bit, but what outside of just the physically
fact that there is a interview with Patrick Stewart where when he was cast, he's like, "Why is my picture on this comic?" And they go, "No, that's the character that's existed since the 60s."
you had hair when this comic book
Yes.
was written.
He was made for this role.
Yeah.
This role was made for him. Whichever you want, chicken and the egg, whichever way you want to look at it. Patrick Stewart is Charles Xavier.
Yeah.
I will not hear any more talk about McAvoy.
Dude, in Doctor Strange,
Oh God!
when he comes out in the yellow wheelchair.
Dude, I about cried. It was so beautiful to see him back. And
yeah,
so,
and then the X-Men theme playing.
yeah.
Couple notes there was
He's
pretty
got the X on the
pretty masterful. And then
everything.
Wanda kills him.
And then Wanda just murders him.
Hey, I love evil Wanda.
You
I do.
You, stop. The correct phrase is "you love evil." Just stop there. That's where Hayden said it earlier. Tom Hiddleston's a bad guy, so that's why you like him more than Charles.
Nah, he's.
Yeah.
When's the last time he was actually a bad guy? Loki.
Loki?
Yeah, he's an anti-hero at the furthest. I think some people could even argue he's a full-on hero at this point.
Oh,
When-
he is absolutely a hero. He saved the entire universe.
Yeah, when's the last
All
time,
universes.
When's the last time he was actually a villain? Was it Avengers? 2012?
Avengers. Yeah.
But no, he's definitely, and I do kind of have some hopes that he's going to be in the last couple movies here with the Secret Wars and Doomsday. Because I think there's been some hints, but
Yeah.
I don't trust a lot of rumors because I think Marvel's proven that they're leaking fake shit just to throw people off. But I do think that it would make sense to have Patrick Stewart as Mr. Xavier. So
Because he belongs on this list, Tad.
he's on my honorable mentions.
Not on this list, though.
No, he's on my honorable mentions.
He belongs in the top
Whereas
10.
whereas Magneto didn't even make my honorable mention because again, it's too good. Sophie's
I
Choice.
didn't say a word about Magneto because I'm like, he's obviously going to be on Tad's list.
I know you said that.
He's obviously
you
gonna
saw
be.
that. You said that earlier. I'm like, don't do shifty eyes. Don't give him a hint.
I can't.
I broke you there for a second.
I'm actually shocked. I'm actually shook.
But yeah, that's our list. I will say this is great because again, if podcasting was a thing 20 years ago and we were I guess it kind of was, but if we were doing a podcast 20 years ago and we did this, I don't know that we could even fill a top 10 list. Back then.
It would have been like Tobey
in
Maguire
04. Yeah, it would have been like Blade,
Tobey Maguire,
the
X-Men,
and the X-Men movies like that. There's. Are you really filling a top 10 there?
Oh my God, we forgot one.
What? I went through a lot of.
We forgot one.
I went through a list.
We both forgot one.
I don't know.
Brandon Lee is the Crow.
I thought about that, but I kind of decided to stick in the realm of like bigger.
That's a comic book still.
I know, but this list is hard enough. I couldn't.
Dad, we forgot Brandon Lee.
No, I thought about it, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. Flash is gone. Brandon Lee would easily be number 10.
I didn't forget. I just told myself I'm going to stick in the realm of AAA comic books, not the more indie stuff. So, but that is our list. This is a lot of fun, and again, I'm glad because I feel like we've been eating good as comic book fans for a while now. So,
17 years.
Gotta love it. So let's go on over to emails. If you want to email the show again, we'll remind you. Hit us up at either Peter at geekeryabides.com or Tad, T-A-D-D, at geekeryabides.com. And hit us up. Let us know. Give us your anger, your
Please
disappointment.
email Tad and tell him that he's wrong.
Oh, I don't do my list to try to upset you, but
Yeah,
every once
you do.
in a while though, I'm like, I have some choices where I'm like, he's gonna have some thoughts
He's
here.
gonna be so mad.
He's
at
going to
me.
have some thoughts here. But next time on episode 56, which is in a fortnight from now, which actually is still March, we don't really talk about it as much on this show because we just kind of alternate, which is fine. But there is actually 3 episodes this month, which is kind of cool. So we'll be back one more time this month for a 3rd episode, which only usually happens twice a year, usually, right?
Yeah, I think so.
That's what it's supposed to be, I think. So, but next time, Peter, what do you got for us on the docket?
We're gonna go check out Terminator 2. Deep dive Terminator 2, one of Tad's all-time favorite movies.
Yeah.
That episode will be coming this year. Top 10 movies.
It's
top
on
10 movies
it's on
of all
my
time.
Mount Rushmore.
It is on your Mount Rushmore,
Yeah,
but we said at the very first
The first episode, yeah, like our it wasn't was it Mount Rushmore or our DNA?
Our DNA, something like that.
Yeah, but like it's one of the most foundational movies for me.
I mean, how many copies do you own?
That's a good question. I know.
That's a question that I need answered for next time.
I know it's north of a dozen.
Yeah,
but
I'm gonna need an answer.
I think it's
for next episode.
17 came to mind. But
Jesus fucking Christ, are you kidding me?
No, I think that's about right.
Good Lord.
That's about right, yeah. So I will say, if I ever win the lottery, there will be signs. I found a place that does an actual 1-to-1 scale T800 skeleton.
Oh my God. How much?
Do
I want to know?
I think it's like 10 grand. But it's made of metal. It's not like plastic. It's like they legit made it out of.
If you won the lottery, there would be signs. Yeah, like a fucking penguin outside my door.
Yeah, that. Or I'd hire the guy that did Fluffy for Creep Show and have him remake it and like get an actor out on your stoop with a box.
That's not wise to do. that would end badly.
You just turn into dust.
I just cease to exist.
Not like,
I don't feel so good, babe.
Oh, I still love the death of Peter Parker there. That's one of my favorite moments.
Hayden says Tad is canceled.
Oh, man. All right. So, yeah, that'll be next in 2 weeks from now. We'll be talking some T2 deep dive. Can't wait for that. I'm already humming the theme in my head. So, yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
That'll be it for this episode. I'll sign off as I always do by saying, let your geek flag fly high, which is a fun thing to say without fudging your words. Love what you love. And, yeah, to hell with anyone that says anything about guilty pleasures.
You're wrong.
Peter's so shocked he doesn't even have anything to say.
You're wrong. Xavier belongs on this list. Magneto belongs on your list. I don't know. I'm shook.
Peter will lose sleep now.
I'm going to lose sleep over this.
All right. See you guys.
Bye, everyone.